The show now on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. 1-877-794-1973.
Wait a minute, these guys are cool, but not that cool.
No BS is presented by Screamin' Sicilian Premium Craft Frozen Pizza. Find it in your local grocer's freezer and taste what all the screaming is about. Now, Billy and Armen on the game.
Well, that sucked. No BS on the game. Billy and Sarian with you statewide and live on YouTube, X, and on the iHeartRadio app. What up, Rhinelander? Good morning, Madison and the heartland and the beautiful, beautiful state of Wisconsin. The best one around, best one in the union. Fox Valley region, Appleton, Oshkosh, stand up. Hopefully you're trying to stand up yesterday. Didn't have a whole lot to stand up for. That stunk. 16-13 Packers lose against the Carolina Panthers. We got a lot of fun for you today. We're going to have a very, very fun exercise where we try to bring up the absolute worst moments for somebody in some fan base. Now, the highlights for some.
Yeah, that's true.
Some of the greatest highlights for some.
That's a great point, Billy. Yeah.
But some low moments on the most northern team in pro baseball for this past weekend. We'll discuss a lot of it. We have so much of it. But Armen, we'd be remiss to not start where we ended on these microphones last night, Packers OT. You're here for the entirety of the broadcast day. You bring us the sounds of Wayne and Larry and John Kuhn on the sidelines for the Packers radio network. And throughout a 3-hour rendition of the Packers' sleepiest game might be the easiest way, I think, to describe what we witnessed throughout the 2025's eighth game of the year last night. You see a team that is just desperately trying to find what its week-to-week identity will be. And sometimes you stumble upon it. Sometimes it slaps you in the face. And sometimes it's out of simply necessity. And this team's going to have some real changes because even though yesterday a 16-13 loss to the Carolina Panthers, who are 5-4, by the way.
Yeah, they're not that bad.
I guess I'll give some respect, even though didn't feel like a whole lot was given throughout the week. And
not for Vegas. They didn't.
Maybe understandably so after they just got drummed by 30 at home. But damn. They did exactly what they wanted to do. The numbers would indicate you're going to win that game.
They would
10 times out of 10.
Yep.
Outside of the time when it's exactly how Carolina wanted the game to go. Mm-hmm. They wanted to run the ball, deflate the ball. They had 11 completions by Bryce Young. 11. In an NFL game. And they're wearing 1923 jerseys, Armen, but this game was played in 2025, and they won with 11 completions.
And in some ways, it felt like more because they seemed to be big ones.
They were big.
When he made them.
They were big.
Like, it seemed to be big ones, but, yeah, only 11 completions. Yeah, and didn't need to because they were running the ball over the place.
Because Rico Dowdle was just snatching souls. He had a 25-yard run after a 16-yard gain. And when jotting down the moments that feel like there were a lot of tipping points, and we always ask and give out a turning point of the game. One of which that might have been the toughest deal was when the Packers finally got Carolina backed up and instantly Dowdle runs for 16. And then runs for 22 and gets it called back on an illegal formation. That was the only thing that was slowing him down yesterday, seemingly, because he was running all over the place. First 100-yard rusher the Packers allow here in 2025. And it is not the end of the world. As I say all of this, is not the end of the world.
That's a good point, Billy. It's not. We have to remind ourselves of that here at 6:04 on Monday.
At some particular point in time, Armen, it kind of starts falling on deaf ears when we say, everybody's going to have that game. Everybody's going to have one of those games. I kind of thought that was in Cleveland.
We had two of them.
Now, granted, Cleveland wasn't a whole game.
Yeah.
It was 5 minutes of the dumbest football you could possibly imagine, and you gave the game away. This one was a full 60-minute effort of allowing Carolina to hang out, do what they wanted, and ultimately capitalize at the end. Because you gave up 13 points for 59 minutes. You had them right where you wanted them. You just couldn't get a stop right at the end. You let Bryce Young walk down the field into range for an easy game-winning field goal. Now, Dowdle's 20-yard run cracked off from the 40 also puts it basically on ice. But out of the most frustrating games you've watched, Armen, where does that one rank? Because for me yesterday, watching at Lambeau Field, it was quite high.
It's up there. There's no doubt about it, Billy. It's absolutely up there. And as Dan from Wausau right away chimes in, what the bleep was that game? You know, Cleveland's up there because you really should have won that game in every way. I mean, you were up in the situation that you were up in makes you, realize you had that game won. Yesterday's game was not a game you had won ever during the game. Now, the frustrating part is the way they took away the game from you. You talk about establishing identity, and there are some identities the Packers, I think they want to be or like to think of themselves as being. But the Carolina Panthers came in and basically took the identity from you and established it themselves. And a lot of that was right away in the first half when it started off just fine for the Packers. You get the stop, you get off the field, you're moving the ball with relative ease. All right? Scripts according to plan. And you get the big fumble by Savion. That one mistake changed so much. It changed momentum. It changed, obviously, game script. It changed what you wanted to do because of what happened after. And that was the problem of the Packers could not get the ball back. They could not possess the ball. They could not keep the Carolina Panthers offense off the field, take the ball for themselves, get possessions, get yards, and score. When the Packers had the ball, Billy, they moved it pretty well. Now, the red zone was a different story, as we know.
In between the 20s, the Packers had their way.
They moved the ball, which probably made it all that more frustrating. You're sitting there thinking,
Correct.
Well, why aren't we succeeding more in this game? Like, we're moving the ball. We're doing some things well. The score is what it is. We're getting in position to score, and we can't. And then the opportunities just dried up. The Packers get the ball with 2 minutes to go in the half, I think, right? Or 3 minutes to go left in the half. That was their third possession.
22.
The Packers had a whole ass 2 possessions in the first 28 minutes of the game. That was probably the most frustrating part, is that you were just being squeezed like a boa constrictor slowly by this Carolina Panthers offense. And you look around that offense and you said, these guys shouldn't be beating us like this. I mean, because of the fact that they had an absolute turnstile at offensive line, right? So you're talking about like backups on their offensive line. Rico Dowdle, give him his flowers. He was good last year. He's been good all year this year. And Bryce made the plays he had to make. Ted McMillan looks good, but you're sitting there telling yourself, why can't we get off the field on this team? Why can't we stop the run on this team? I mean, I don't think this is the 67 Packers offensive line.
No.
You had Josh Nyman, who was clearly fired up yesterday.
Juiced.
Spike in the end zone.
A big spike. He was excited.
And a bunch of dudes that were, I don't know, coming off the bench. Another guy was, I'm like, okay, well.
You had a guard playing center who had never played center before, and he was in there because the center couldn't snap, so he had to go play guard. Like, it was a rotating through tackles in and out, and you're spot on that they kind of did whatever they wanted. And I think this is maybe one of the interesting parts as to why it felt even more like Novocaine as to why you couldn't get off the field. Carolina was using all 4 downs.
All 4 downs.
All 4 downs.
They would not give up.
And that's a concerted effort.
Yes.
And that's, again, like in the midst of, and it does not take away any of the problems that the Packers continually allowed to be the reasons why Carolina was in the game. But Carolina, again, you give credit to, they played the game that they felt like they needed to play to win. They had to use all 4 downs. They went for it on 4th down all game. And started doing it by going for it backed up right away. First possession, they said, we're trying this thing. And I believe it was the illegal formation that ended it up, and then they had to punt. That was why it was a 3 and out. But then they drive for 15 plays. Bryce Young throws one of the wilder interceptions that you could see. That was the clearest effect of the wind yesterday. And I don't know how it translated. It definitely doesn't on radio. It's hard on television to even see. Man, that wind was gusting in the bowl yesterday. I mean, it was thick yesterday. And the Young interception, clearly a situation of that. The extra point, clearly a situation of that. Maybe played into why the Packers didn't kick the field goal down on a 4th and 8, but Matt LaFleur's like, that was just a bad decision. There were a couple of just bad decisions yesterday.
Well, you had time to think about that decision too. That's what I don't get about
that.
That
timeout to think about the decision.
What's really happening?
When Love takes the timeout in formation, I'm like, all right, sweet. Take the points, be in a game, and now you can go steal it and win it with a touchdown. next possession.
There's no reason to do that, man.
I see
Except for
McManus kick
frustration.
2 into the net,
Yeah.
trot over, and my man doesn't even look down the sideline. I mean, LaFleur was not engaging at all with a kick.
It was a very
He was
tin cup
dialed
moment.
in.
Yeah.
We are going. And, that's where I know there's a lot of people that have a lot of play calling frustrations and a lot of tone setting frustrations. And we had Jeff in a truck call in or text in and say, Matt LaFleur should really think about dressing down his players, not on the sidelines.
I love that.
I can't imagine how players react to being screamed at in front of millions on television. Well, I can imagine not good. You know what also doesn't work out very well? Getting your ass cut. And you do it behind closed doors and you let it sit for 3.5 hours. Bad things happen. You got to let it out right away.
Yeah.
You got to let it out right away. And we are also in professional sports. If you can't handle a little bit of a frustrated coach with some passionate coaching on the sidelines, might need to find a different sport. We might need to go into something else. Because this is going to be a passionate game. And you are going to, when you do not switch hands with the football and run, directly into the back of the blocker on the bubble screen. A lot of people don't like bubble screens.
A lot of people don't like
You
it.
put the ball in left hand towards the sidelines, which again, I never held the ball. Never got to run with the ball. I was always way past the weight limit.
Sure.
That's taught right away.
Right away.
Protect to the sideline.
As a guy that went from a youth coach to a high school coach to a college coach, it's taught at every level.
Early stuff.
Level. And Letty, that would be like for offensive line, that would be like first day stuff, right? That would be like while we are doing stance.
Yeah, which is painful to watch.
For 25 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a ball security. We put it towards the sideline. Savion Williams, what are we doing, brother?
That one hurt.
What are we doing, brother? And JC Horn makes a great play. So there's times where everything that the Packers did to allow Carolina to be in the game, Carolina took advantage of it. So I give plenty of credit over there. But you consistently put it on a platter waiting for somebody to pounce. Hey, man, that's a hungry team that was trying to make a statement. And they made a statement in your house, one that we look at games all differently. And it's all through prisms. I think a lot of 2022, Packers go to Detroit in the midst of a 5 or 6 game losing streak that it ended up being. Think, all right, sweet. This is where it ends. We've been brutal for a month. It's been tough. Rodgers' final year. We got young wide receivers. We're going to Detroit.
And they're like 1-7. What were they at the time?
They're 1-7.
Yeah, they were 1-7. Yeah.
Chicken soup.
Yeah.
Just that week.
Chicken soup we're going to eat.
Just that week, Sheila Ford says, quit asking. We're not firing Dan Campbell.
About Dan Campbell's job.
I like him.
Yep.
He's safe. He's not going anywhere. You lose 15-9, and Aaron Rodgers walks up to the podium and says, we can't lose that game to that team. Well, they listened to that, and then 5 weeks later came in and ended your season. That team on the other side was looking at that as an arrival moment to let the rest of the NFL know, hey, we're playing. We're for real. And Carolina used yesterday as that opportunity for them. Good on them for taking it. But it does not excuse you for allowing it to happen. And I think that was the biggest part of yesterday's game was it was allowing Carolina to hang around in the football game.
Yeah.
Be in the game late and allow yourself to make enough mistakes to lose it. Miss enough kicks, enough holding penalties, enough procedural penalties, and just enough missed tackles to be dangerous. Brutal game yesterday. 877-794-1973. Danny P said 2 things that we saw yesterday. Uniforms were trash, and Love is not him. That was far from Jordan Love's best game.
I disagree with 1.5 of those things, but we'll talk about it. You can have your opinion. That's fine. I got to say this. Nobody was free of blame yesterday. Nobody. Coaching and the entire team, every phase had a problem and contributed to the loss. Nobody was free of blame. And I am excited to talk about it in a bit. We're going to get a lot of reaction. We'll get everybody's reaction. But I'm excited that we get the first crack also at the leftover Packers OT text, Billy, that we're going to get from last night.
We got a lot of good ones. We got a lot of good ones on Packers OT. We had a truncated version of Packers OT, so we had to fly through it. So we're wide open for you at 877-794-1973. You're going to really want to hear some of the audio we got from inside the locker room yesterday. Luddy and Doug Russell were running around like madmen in there while we were finishing off Packers OT and bringing you the conversation. Josh Jacobs. Tons of emotion. Hear from him. Luke Musgrave. We briefly said it in this opening segment. You lose 16-13, that's tough. The loss of Tucker Kraft.
That's going to hurt, man.
Is a bigger loss.
Terrible.
Than a 16-13 game yesterday, especially if the early indications are correct. And it's a torn ACL that Ian Rappaport kind of reported yesterday. A couple of other people indicated that it's the expectation as they go into, as Armen would say, the magnet today.
The magnet.
Get the answers when you go to the magnet, but we'll get the final determination, and it might not be good. Matt LaFleur said it does not look good for Tucker Kraft yesterday. Well, that's going to change the way the Packers offense looks. 877-794-1973. We got some more headlines around the NFL and around all of sports when our friend Scott Dolphin rolls in here on the other side. And you join us at 877-794-1973. Packers fans, we want to hear from you on I've been told that we could call this, since it's not a Victory Chicken Monday, it's a meatless Monday.
That ain't happening.
You don't get anything. You get nothing. You lose. The mashed potatoes Monday on the game. No BS back after this.
This is a tough one at Lambeau to Carolina.
Martin down on one knee, arm extended. Snap, placement. The kick is up, and it is good.
Oh.
And the Panthers have won.
We're reacting all day on the game. Stay tuned.
You do like to grab attention.
No BS. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm Hunter Baumgart with a programming update. Where can you find the games you want to listen to and when? We've got the answers. Tonight, you can hear Monday Night Football, courtesy of Westwood One, on our sister station, Fox Sports 920 WOKY in Milwaukee and 1070 The Game in Madison. The 3-4-1 Dallas Cowboys host the 2-5 Arizona Cardinals. 6 o'clock pregame, 7:15 kickoff this evening. I'm Hunter Baumgart for the Game Radio Network.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Steely Dan songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Hey 19.
She thinks I'm crazy, but I'm just growing old. Hey 19. Now we got nothing to come. We can't dance together. Can't talk at all.
Number 2, Do It Again.
Yeah, you go back, Jack, do it again. We'll turn it round and round. You go back, Jack, do it again.
Number 1, Reeling in the Years.
Are you reeling in the years? Stowing away the time? Are you gathering up the tears? Have you had enough of mine?
Hear more from Steely Dan and similar artists now. Search for Steely Dan on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Animals need friends. For a list of 10 easy things you can do to brighten their lives, please write People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. That's PETA, Norfolk, Virginia, 23510. Thanks.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Steve Miller Band songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Take the Money and Run.
Bobby Sue, took the money and run. Go on, take the money and run. Go on, take the money and run.
Number 2, Rockin' Me.
I know that it's true that all the things that I do will come back to me in my sweet time. So keep on rocking me, baby. Keep on rocking me, baby.
Number 1. The Joker.
I play my music in the sun. I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I get my loving on the run.
Hear more from the Steve Miller Band and similar artists now. Search for Steve Miller Band on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
The Milwaukee Admirals wrap up a 4-game homestand on Friday night when they host the Rockford Ice Hogs at Panther Arena. From the far circle, slot Carr, shoot, scores! Happy birthday, Daniel Carr! Pre-game coverage at 6:30, face-off at 7 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
You may not play for your favorite team, but you act like it. Whether you're at work or outside on the grill, you carry them with you. No, not with a jersey, but a mindset as you crack open that ice-cold beer. Cheesehead TV and Gathering Place Brewing bring you Carry the G, a delicious and easy drinking cream ale. But it's not just for tailgating, it's for everyday life.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so creamy and cold. From the land of the green and gold.
Available throughout Wisconsin, 21 plus, drink responsibly.
Did you know that every 65 seconds, someone in the U.S. is developing Alzheimer's disease and 1 in 3 seniors are dying of it or another dementia? University of Wisconsin-Madison researchers are trying to improve the lives of people affected with innovative treatments, early diagnosis, and comprehensive support for families and caregivers. Together, we can improve lives and build a future with Alzheimer's disease in Wisconsin and beyond. Visit goalsforacure.org.
Message marked urgent.
We're here for you now on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line at 1-877-794-1973.
Did you get the black eye today? No, actually, I was in Pick and Save, right? So while I was checking out my grocery, there was this guy that was about to snatch a purse from a lady. So I was like, "Hey, man, what are you doing? Stop!" So I went and grabbed him, and he kind of turned and elbowed me in the eye. But then I grabbed him, put him on the floor, took the purse, gave it to the lady, and then the lady was safe. I paid for her groceries too because she was in shock and stuff. Then, the police came and took the guy. I don't know, took him into custody. So after that, I just went back home, did some cleaning.
That's what all good heroes do after saving the day. And an elderly woman in a pick and save from a bank robber. You go home, take some treatment, and take a nap. There's Giannis Antetokounmpo bringing us back on this meatless Monday here today on the game. Scott Dolphin joins us now on No BS.
Yeah, did that really happen?
I doubt it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally did.
Well, what's the most, the two things about that story that I think are the least believable are Giannis said, well,
a guy's elbow can reach Giannis's eye.
That's the number one.
That's what it is. If you start thinking about the semantics of this story now, I know what you wanted me to say is that Giannis shops at Pick and Save. No. Giannis is one of us. I believe he shops at Pick and Save. I believe he clips those Kroger coupons. I believe he's all about the produce and he's listening to Leroy in the
he's getting game day brats.
Getting Leap vodka. Yeah.
For years he lived in those apartment condos right at the end of Howard Avenue when they still practiced at the Cousins Center.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife was a teacher at the time. She always worked at Target in Bayview. He'd come in there all the time.
Yeah, he's a regular dude, man.
All the time. And my son's buddy, Jackson, worked at that Culver's on Layton Avenue. He's constantly coming through there as
I've
well.
been there. Yeah, smart.
Yeah, he is. You're right, Armen.
Well,
he's a regular dude.
The ones in St. Francis area, you talking about those condos?
Right at the end of Howard Avenue. That's
right
where
at the
he
end
and
of
his
Howard.
family lived in back when he worked out at the Cousins Center.
So he was, because that was the area. He didn't know anywhere to go.
Jim Paschke's old building.
Oh, is that? Okay.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you guys know all the good dirt.
It's right on the lake, man. You get some incredible
Gorgeous
views
spot.
of downtown.
Gorgeous spot.
And he would go to Omega on 27th to get his gyros and
Always.
stuff.
Yep.
But the thing is,
I prefer their pancakes.
they have a great. Well, it's one of those classic places
great
where they had
spot.
the whole menu. You could get anything. Spaghetti.
A lot of times you think If there's an 18-page menu, that's
Oh my
a bad
gosh,
thing.
yeah.
If it's a Greek restaurant, it's a great thing because there's not one thing you're ordering.
That's why I'm
bad.
true. That's why I miss those places are leaving us a little bit. There used to be a bunch on Highway 100.
Genesis right over here. Gone.
Yeah,
What a
Genesis is
sad day, Billy.
Heartbroken.
I think Forum is like reduced their hours.
Probably potentially because of how many times that I had gone in there at 2 a.m. and no longer frequenting there at 2 or 3 a.m.
We used to go in high school. We used to go all the time late at night Forum, and then like the dessert carts in there. And then the pies and the cakes and everything
is awesome. Genesis is becoming what is it, an Asian
buffet?
Hibachi. Oh, it's a hibachi.
Yeah, Laura's excited. She's like, we got a hibachi place. I'm like, that was Genesis. Well,
yeah.
Yes, slow your roll.
I appreciate that they have grills at the tables now. You know what they don't have? An awesome salad bar anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what they don't have, and that's what breaks my heart.
The body's not even cold, and you're gonna sit here and celebrate just because guys wouldn't choo with the onions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
just because there's a little onion volcano, you're gonna go nuts.
Yeah, come on.
We're losing
throwing eggs around.
All the great area landmarks. I mean, AJ Bombers with the peanut blimp.
Sure,
that's going away.
Bob Fisher's closes at like 8 p.m. now.
Oh my God!
Why is it even open?
You want to talk a go-to breakfast? That's the place for me.
I remember when. When AJ Bombers was Water's End. That was the bar.
Wow. Oh, all right.
See, I'm an old school
old guy.
I'm an OG guy.
I do remember though when Red Rock was Luke's Sports Spectacular on Water Street.
I remember when that was Sullivan's.
I remember when Tom's Watch Bar was the Mecca. 877-794-1973.
I remember
when I used stunned that one wasn't.
I remember when 97. Oh wait. Probably shouldn't bring that up. Probably not.
Like bringing up judges as a pass
By
bar.
the way, Merry Christmas, everybody.
That was as good as it gets right there. That's why you're
That's
still
the best thing you're gonna hear all day.
Man.
Now, Dolph, you got to be feeling good after yesterday because as we are working on Packers OT, I am getting ready to get all of our things together, and I'm kind of a tough person to deal with after a Packers loss because generally, there might be a financial investment. Now, luckily, yesterday there was not. Sadly,
a lot of points they were given.
Yeah, sadly, I kind of thought that game could be a little bit of the recipe there. I definitely didn't think they were going to lose the game. However,
you didn't take Panthers with the points. You didn't take that, Billy, and because honestly, a lot of people said this line was just wrong.
Some would have.
I thought they were going to obliterate them. You're talking about, Bryce Young is a little dinged up. You got an offensive line that was decimated with injuries.
7th and 8th stringers up there. You got a right guard playing center with never having the NFL. All of this, I'm trying to collect and calm down before we got to do Packers OT. And this son of a gun right over here, right across the aisle, on the board, goes, well, at least the Bears blew it.
Sure did look that way.
Well, at least the Bears blew it. How did they find a way to lose that game? Give up 15 unanswered points and lose. And holy cow, do the Bears have an explosive offense now?
I don't know.
47 points?
Cincinnati's defense is a sieve. I don't know. I mean, the Bears had scored. They had scored over 20 points a game until last week when they laid an egg at Baltimore. But I don't think I'm ready to crown them just yet, like Denny Green once said.
I just thought that was going to be, the blow in that game. That was going to be the salve for my wound yesterday for the Packers. It looked like it was going to happen.
It was a big old bandage right on top.
That was going to be the start of the collapse of the Bears season. I was really excited. And then, boom, here comes Colston Loveland bouncing off guys like the bumper boat and getting in the end zone. I'm like, how did this happen?
Bengals scored 14 points in 49 seconds.
15, I think.
Is that what it was? 15. You're right.
Yeah.
Points for 2. So they get the onside kick, which should never happen anymore. But the Bears had a horrible special teams.
That was bad.
They gave up the opening kickoff for a touchdown. So that was kind of the pace they set. But there was a minute left. And they had a timeout, and you're thinking the way these teams are going up and down the field on each other, I thought there was certainly a chance that they could get in position
to get a field goal try. No, but they were down.
Oh, you're right.
No,
they only
Bears were down a point.
I'm wrong.
Needed 3.
Yeah,
You're right.
The Bears were down a point. Now, if you were trying to get them to cover town at 2.5, the only thing that could have saved you was Colston Loveland doing exactly what he did and bounce off a Bengal and run into the end zone. That was that's the best play he's had, right, as a Bear.
Big time. It's his first career touchdown.
Great moment for him because people have been dunking on the fact of how good Tyler Warren looks.
It's been phenomenal. Yeah,
that was a huge game for him.
And if Cole Kmet doesn't get hurt, go under concussion protocol yesterday, you might not see that final touchdown. Who knows? But you can see how fast that guy is.
Oh, he's got speed. Yeah.
And the reason the Bears wanted to take him 10th overall or whatever it was.
I'll tell you this. I don't like your head coach. I really don't like him, and it's fun to have in a situation like that.
It is
because he just reminds me of the goofiest cat that they let into the party, but he starts stealing the show, and everyone's like, "Wow, this guy's awesome! This guy's." He does the little thing. Armin, did you see the video of them yesterday? I know you probably didn't want to hate watch the Bears celebration video.
Why would I watch Bears celebration?
He's sitting in there and he's getting ready to. He goes, "Oh man, I lost it. Where is it? Five wins.
He just thinks he's funny, and he's
you
not.
Gotta be kidding me with this corny.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Congratulations, because it doesn't matter what I think of him. He's a better already, Dolph, potentially a better head coach than I thought he was. I thought he was going to be an offensive coordinator. And he has got those dudes buying in hook, line, and sinker. And this division was the best one in the NFL last year. And it seems like right now it's the best one once again.
How about JJ McCarthy? I mean, everybody's like, oh, yeah, he's got an ankle injury. He can't play at this level.
Super weird. A super weird situation.
Wow. What a day for the division.
He came out and played well. That was the other thing that was unexpected. It was the Lions losing to them. I don't know what to make of this McCarthy situation. He didn't look terrible when I'm watching, but then again, some days he does. Then again, he's only played a few games, so I don't know.
I don't get it, Armin. I was there for Monday Night Football on opening weekend, and the fourth quarter he had for a rookie that had never seen NFL defense at full speed was freaking incredible. And the Bears were somewhat healthy. They had, I guess, 3 of their 4 cornerbacks at that time.
Yeah,
and he was phenomenal that night. And then when he gets hurt, and remember seeing, well, they're hiding him. He can't play. They don't think he can play at this level. Well, he should look like he could play at that level yesterday.
Yeah. That's just another example of how crazy this league is week to week. And that's the reality of it. You just never know what to expect. You don't know what judgments you can make on teams and players. I mean, obviously, we're talking about the Packers today. It looked great last week, right? And then now, obviously, it looks totally different. So
any given Sunday, there's some crazy things yesterday. Did you see the kid from Jacksonville broke the NFL field goal record?
Yeah, this is getting
69
wild,
yards.
He's awesome. And you're right, Billy. You have to reprogram now everything you think about field goals. Everything you think about field goals.
68, sorry.
It don't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
This is the young man that hit the 70-yarder during preseason. And also, it's just like maybe the best optical illusion on the name. Cam Little. Not a little leg.
Right.
Not a little leg. That's like, I was just going to say, that's 6'8" guy. That's us calling Dave Gasper tiny.
Yeah,
which we also might have to start doing. Dolph, I see all the headlines there. We want to get to some of them, but we have to ask you one of the questions that we had percolating through our mind during the pre-show. We do have a meeting during the pre-show meeting. Now, generally, it's
I missed it.
I heard Armin in the hallway at about before 5 a.m. this morning.
That's our meeting.
Yeah,
you were here before 5 a.m.
I don't know, barely. Maybe it must have been 4:59. It must have been
Grinder. You're making me look bad.
Shannon I think it was like 4:55.
Don't give me any credit. I just roll in when I roll in. Please don't give me.
Has
any credit.
there been a team that has been closer to winning a title than the Toronto Blue Jays were on Saturday night, where my man is literally sliding in, and if his foot is on the base when Will Smith's foot is off the base, which it appears it's about 3 inches away from being on the corner of home plate. Yeah. Like, we were trying to go through it. There's not a whole lot that you can think of that have been closer than Toronto was to walking it off and winning the title.
Devastating. How about Friday?
Oh,
as well. I mean, you had both games. You had a ball that got stuck under the frickin' outfield wall.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
And was it really? I don't know.
It was lodged. It was lodged. Yeah. That's a good call. I'm sorry. I know it was bad luck, but it was a good call.
That's on the Blue Jays. Make your damn wall go to the bottom of the
figure
wall.
It out, guys. Yeah.
Why does that padding only go down so far?
Well, Freddie Freeman hit a homer in our little nook in right field that if we never built that 15, 20 years ago, we would have been all right. But
we needed that at the time, air tray and landing
We need that landing spot.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Really worked out. It's just like
looks fun out there, though.
It does kind of look like a nice time with a lot of food and drinks.
Guys in collared shirts eating nachos. Yeah, it's very important. Yeah,
but it is. It's one of the best games I've ever seen played.
It was amazing.
Now, granted, there's a lot of Game 7s that would try to be in the discussion. 2016 Cubs Indians would be in the conversation.
That one was awesome
for one of the best games. But as it's unfolding, it is one of the coolest spectacles to watch. And when Yamamoto comes out, I know we've had a lot made about Shohei Ohtani throughout the whole playoffs.
Right.
That was one of the gutsiest things I've ever seen a player do.
How many innings did he throw the night before?
6.
Yeah.
6 2/3, 90 some pitches.
Yeah.
100 pitches in game 2.
I was going to say this is the only time you see that. And you used to see it quite a bit in World Series or playoff games when there's no tomorrow. But now these guys are worth so much money. You rarely see it. And credit to Yamamoto and credit to the Dodgers for making it happen. And boy, did he come through big time.
It is cool to see, you're right, in this age of this of the game, that when you get down to games like this, winner take alls, game sevens, that to see managers still empty the clip, go, all hands on deck, anything that they can do. You obviously
Blake Snell coming in as like the left-handed reliever. I was like, oh wow, okay.
It's kind of cool to see that. You don't see that a lot anymore, obviously. And you got to give Yamamoto credit, man. Rubber arm. I remember 2001 when Schilling and Randy Johnson to the limit, right? Randy Johnson, a famous story that I think Bob Melvin tells, that Randy got out of the game in game 6 and walking down the tunnel just turns around and said, I'll be ready for game 7.
They obliterated the Yankees in game 6 in that series. And then it was all hands on deck when they came back.
Right.
And still you needed Gonzo with a slap hit off of the greatest closer of all time up the middle to get the win for the but it's hard to repeat, man. The Dodgers did Saturday night goes back before the game you're talking about, Armen. It goes back, what was it, the late 1990s was the last time a team repeated.
Yankees three-peated, 98, 99, 2000. Yankees three-peated, and so there you go.
They put up the last National League team to repeat was the Big Red Machine in the 70s.
Are you serious?
70s.
75, 76.
Yeah. It's hard to believe, but in some ways with expanded playoffs, it makes more sense. But yeah, I mean, you would have thought it would have happened at some point since then, but it hasn't. So and Yamamoto has 3 wins in the World Series.
He's the first guy since Johnson to win Game 6 and Game 7.
And don't forget another guy that did it, Lou Burdett in 57 for the Braves. So
oh yeah, totally remember Lou. Go. Yeah.
Hey, come on, that's our guy. Come on,
57.
Come on, that's our team. Yeah,
beat the Yankees 58. They were also in the series, right?
They were up 3-1 and didn't win it. But you know what? No one talks about that. Isn't that funny? Nobody talks about that one.
It's not surprising, actually,
because you remember the good things. But I mean, this day and age, that would have been like the 58 Braves blew it. They had a 3-1 lead, could have repeated.
We should point out those were the Milwaukee Braves.
Oh, yeah.
In 1958.
Oh, you don't think I'm messing around with the Atlanta Braves? I don't care that much. If this was the Atlanta Braves, I wouldn't have cared. This is Milwaukee.
Right.
This was us. Okay. Yeah. This is Lou Burdett.
Our team, our town.
Our only baseball championship, right? Was it? Unless the AAA Brewers had one back at Borchert Field.
World Series. I don't know.
I don't know. Dave Gasper told us that his rec softball team won the title. So I think we're going to claim. We're going to claim that one.
Oh, I got the whole rundown of that.
Yeah, you did, Dolph.
Burnham Park. I mean, when they won that thing at Burnham Park. Oh my gosh.
West Milwaukee. Oh yeah.
It was pure pandemonium on 39th and Burnham.
That's a tough place to play. Burnham Park.
You throw the records out when you get into a spot like that.
It's not great. You got a lot of industry built warehouses around there, shift changes and stuff.
Just want you to know, Dolph, we have a lot of people. Our friend Matt said, what a drop by Dolph. Got me laughing so hard on this Monday. Dolph from the top rope. That is one of the better ones that we've heard in a long time.
That was really good.
Want you to know how much we appreciate it on this meatless Monday. On this, we just took a fat L to the Carolina Panthers Monday. Thank you for that, because we desperately needed it.
I figured you'd like that.
Oh, we love a little bit of
pain and pleasure.
Yeah. Now, that is one that we want everyone to think about and participate, though, throughout the show. Closest to winning a title without winning one, right?
Please.
Yeah.
Closest to winning a title without winning one. We're trying to figure it out.
We've been literal inches.
Dyson with Tennessee, they still got to make the extra point to tie.
Fisher said he was going to go for 2.
All right, well, then you're 2.5 yards away.
Okay, right.
That's getting closer.
What about Scott Norwood?
I don't know. He missed that bad boy by about 10 feet.
It wasn't close enough.
It's true.
We
Buffalonians are too nice to him.
I want to know how good David Freese's pitches were. Like when he knocks those balls for the Cardinals when they're a strike away from losing the title, and that was 11 to the Rangers twice.
Yeah.
I want to know just framed up, just a centimeter on the bat. That's how close the Blue Jays were to winning the title on Saturday night. Yikes.
So many to choose from.
Oh,
so many. And Jeff, that's easy to say now.
Right.
That's easy to say. A great story. You can tell on the circuit, on the.
I just saw Jaden Daniels' elbow.
Yeah, I just watched that earlier too. It's not good.
God,
Jaden, he's been snake bit this sophomore season.
That was probably on Dolph's headlines. We ran right through him again. That was a massive L by us, but we appreciate it, Dolph, as always.
It was in there, third from the bottom, but it was in there.
We had to get that Burnham Park reference in. Yeah,
Burnham Park and just the absolute.
Wilson Park, Side John. There's some good softball in this city.
Side really is down by the airport.
Burnham
That's
Park,
by you, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Those are great parks too. But Burnham is sometimes forgotten because it's in West Milwaukee.
Sure.
If you're from Wisconsin and not from the Milwaukee area, you might not know that West Milwaukee is actually a place.
It's a real place.
It is. Miller Parkway runs through West Milwaukee.
There's a postage stamp that says West Milwaukee on it.
Oh, I know all about it. I used to live down.
Liberace went to West Milwaukee Elementary School.
Which doesn't exist, I think, anymore, right?
Look that up. Yeah. Does it?
West
Milwaukee
High School now.
High school does not
There's
exist.
an intermediate school. Yeah.
They're part of the West Dallas School District.
And I needed my 90 seconds to get all my Luberdette stuff in there, Milwaukee Braves. So my apologies.
Nothing wrong with
Oh,
that.
we're
I
gonna
don't
hit
feel
the
bad about it.
Luberdette one later on. Armin just wants to let you know that he knows about this 57
I know
World
ball.
Series.
I want you to know that I know ball, and I've
know
watched those black and white newsreels plenty. And I was really good buddies with Johnny Logan, whose grandpa was on those teams.
Yeah.
So I'm name dropping everything I can down
I was
here.
going to say sick brag. All right, we got to let Dolph go do his real job.
Sorry,
now, boys.
Dolph.
Have a good Monday.
We appreciate it, brother. Some Meatless Monday, 877-794-1973. No victory chicken for us. Just losers laments with you at 877-794-1973. Join us on the talk and text line now, and we'll discuss it on the other side of the break. It's No BS on the Game.
The Packers fall to the Panthers at Lambeau.
Love under center takes. Back to throw. Sets up left. Rainbows. Deep down the middle for Watson. Intercepted by Merrick. 28-yard line. Gets up east to the 30, 35, 40. Left sideline to the 50, to the 45, and out of bounds to the 40-yard line to the near side.
We're talking about it all day on the game. Miss an hour of No BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to reminisce about the romance behind the procedure of buying a record.
The romance of music in the 70s, it was a whole procedure of buying a record. You went and got the record. In America, it was shrink wrapped. And you had sometimes a gatefold sleeve, which means double sleeve. You took it home, you cradled it in your arms, you took it out of its shrink wrap, and then you looked at the album, and then you took the record out and you put it on. And while you were listening to the record, you put the needle on, and then you looked at the lyrics. What I used to do was I used to put headphones on, look at the lyrics, and then I used to read who played what, who played. That's how we got so many different musicians in the past to play on our albums, by finding out who played bass, who played drums. I'm a musician, and I like to know and give credit to the people that actually performed on the records, who sang on them, who produced them, who arranged them. And it was all part of the tactile process of buying a record. It was just that tangible thing that you had.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to talk about how he thinks music has changed over the years.
Oh, I think music has, it's either music or it's not, but it's split into so many categories. Actually, it was Clockwork Orange, a writer of Clockwork Orange. His name escapes me right now, but he's an awesome writer. He wrote about that in the 60s, that music was going to fragment, and 14-year-olds wouldn't like 15-year-old music, and 15-year-olds wouldn't like 16-year-old music, and it's really kind of how it's come down.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
Did you know that every 65 seconds, someone in the U.S. is developing Alzheimer's disease, and 1 in 3 seniors are dying of it or another dementia? University of Wisconsin-Madison researchers are trying to improve the lives of people affected with innovative treatments, early diagnosis, and comprehensive support for families and caregivers. Together, we can improve lives and build a future with Alzheimer's disease in Wisconsin and beyond. Visit goalsforacure.org.
The Milwaukee Admirals wrap up a 4-game homestand on Friday night when they host the Rockford Ice Hogs at Panther Arena. From the far circle, slot Carr, shoot, scores! Happy birthday, Daniel Carr! Pre-game coverage at 6:30, face-off at 7 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
It's the greatest story in sports.
Carr dropping straight back, Kennedy throws, has the ball, it is a touchdown.
I'm Doug Russell, and this is Tales from 1265, an insider's look at football's most storied franchise. A franchise that has had its dynasties.
This is the first Super Bowl trophy, and it's something Green Bay can keep. We're going to have a new trophy each year.
And its rebirths.
Every major football decision will be made by Ron Wolf.
I realize I'm a Green Bay Packer now, and maybe I can prove that I am worth the first-round pick next year, but just got to be patient.
But I was really impressed with the coaching staff, with the whole organization, and with the direction the team is going. I think they have a total commitment to winning.
Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolay Law, your local award-winning injury lawyers. If you've been injured, get Nicolay, Wisconsin's winning team of lawyers that will get you back in the game. Tales from 1265 is a production of iHeartRadio Podcasts and is available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Message marked urgent.
We're here for you now on the NicolayLaw.com talk and text line at 1-877-794-1973.
But never finding the answers. Crying at the top of my voice.
No BS on the game. Packers lose 16-13, and we're talking about it with you at 877-794-1973. Packers hit Jordan Love hits Christian Watson for a 51-yard catch to get close. And then let me just run down how the Packers, this was the second Packers red zone trip went, where they went 1 of 5, Armen, yesterday.
Ugh.
1 of 5 in the red zone.
Terrible.
Fumbled snap, sack, false start, drop, quickly 4th and 23 on a 49-yard field goal.
And that's the stuff
how tough you made it on yourself yesterday. Consistently, and every time they got close, every time they got in position, and there's no number here. I have no fact other than simply opinion. Savion Williams doesn't fumble on the first drive. The Packers rout the Carolina Panthers.
It sure feels like it.
If they go in and finish the initial drive, it's the first of many seeds of doubt that get planted into Carolina. Because remember, you already had one on the first drive. 3 and out. They had picked up a first down. Gets called back for a formation penalty. They had multiple penalties on their first series.
Yeah.
Like, that is a great recipe for, boom, battle. We already know we're getting the ball at half. BTA, as the kids like to say.
Yep.
And at that moment, you don't allow it to be because of self-inflicted wounds. They had 6 or 7 penalties yesterday. That's too many. But they were at key points in time.
The timing.
But that sequence in the second quarter was maybe the most nauseating part of the game for me, because it was the perfect encapsulation of how bad they were in the red area, where generally it's one of their best places. We talk about the gold zone all these different times.
Sure.
Under LaFleur, in different seasons, they've been elite in the red area. Then there's other years where they're middle of the pack to bottom tier. And yesterday was one of the worst red zone performances you're going to see. And again, credit to Carolina. It was exactly what they wanted to do. But you still need to be able to convert into touchdowns. And they were so far from being able to finish off those drives yesterday. It's exactly what did them in. 877-794-1973. Like a couple of talking text line messages that we got here right out of the gates here. This is Steve Armen. It's pretty frustrating. The horrible play we have to watch the Packers fans seem like there's more bad play than good play from yesterday. I'm not sure we could say anyone played well, but Jordan Love really concerns me that he keeps throwing into double and triple coverage. It also doesn't help that we have an old O-line. I don't know how many times Elton Jenkins didn't even touch a guy in a white uniform on an offensive play. It's just ridiculous. The defensive line was just bad. We got some real problems to solve.
Yeah, nobody was absolved the blame yesterday. That was the thing. Every phase had a problem. Every phase contributed to it. You can't say anyone out there played well. I think Jordan Love played well for a while. He did rack up a lot of yards. The deep ball interception was the big mistake that he made there. I don't know what the deal was. I don't really think about the 4th and 8 play because he had to put it up somewhere. So that was a dropped interception. Didn't really matter. I don't think Jordan necessarily played bad. In fact, he completed a lot of balls early and he was on point normally. They were umbrella covering everything, so we had to take a lot of underneath stuff. Did hit a couple of deep ones that almost got us back in the game, but the deep ball into double coverage, whatever that was a bad decision. So everybody was partly to blame in this situation. Everybody made a mistake. Everybody contributed to it. There was no phase you said played so well they tried to rescue the Packers or were close to rescuing the Packers. And what you said, Billy, about the red zone stuff is probably what frustrates fans the most. When you talk to them, the reaction we see that we're getting, and we're going to get a lot of our comments up here as well from YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, is that it's the self-inflicted wounds that this team could be much better if they're more disciplined, or at least play more disciplined. This team has so much more potential if they don't shoot themselves in the foot. It's those type of things that frustrate you the most, that say to yourself, you know what? The fumble is frustrating as it is. turning point early. You talk about momentum change. I agree with you, Billy. It sure feels like things would have turned around. But that being said, that's true. What's also should be true is you should be able to overcome that and still play your game and win the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing about it. That was okay, that was frustrating, but we still got 50 minutes to go in this game. Now it didn't help not getting many possessions in the first half to catch a rhythm. When they did, they tried to move the ball.
They caught a rhythm, Armen. They drove into the red area almost every time. They had 9-play drives.
Exactly. They were moving the ball. They just couldn't finish. And that was the ironic thing about it. So that's where you have to give credit for Carolina as well, and a little bit against our run defense for never being able to control the game.
Never.
Carolina controlled the possession, controlled the game, and did what they wanted. And Rico Dowdle made his statement. Yash Nyman made his statement.
Yeah.
We want to come control the ball on you, and the Packers defense could not get off the field.
Justin in Jacksonville said, that was tough to watch yesterday. Kraft being out's going to hurt. LaFleur needs to get rid of the wide receiver screen. And does Hafley know he can blitz? Hafley needs to bring more than 4 and make these quarterbacks get uncomfortable in the pocket. I would say no. I mean, a week ago, that's exactly what we're celebrating and lauding is the fact that you're able to get pressure with 4. When you're going to play defense and you're going to play zone, you have to get pressure with 4.
That's what teams want to do.
They did a really good job of getting the ball out so quickly. There were 2 plays that weren't just in quick game where Bryce Young even had a real drop back opportunity. And the Packers got some heat there. And he made a great ability to get somewhat escapable and deliver the goods. You got to be able to get them on the ground, but they didn't give a whole lot of opportunities there. The blitzing, look at one of the final plays. They bring a run blitz off to the left side. Dowdle cuts it off to the right, gains 19, sets up the game-winning kick.
Right.
So, I mean, we like the plays when they work. And again, the wide receiver screen, you're running that with the idea that one of your best blockers, Malik Heath, who's on the football team because of his blocking on the perimeter, gets 1 block. And then it's 1-on-1. And he's not getting contacted for 10 yards. So, I understand we like to be upset when it doesn't work. You're trying to put your best players in their best positions to play. Malik Heath is being forced into a lot more action because of the injuries you have out there. Dontavian Wick's not available. Jaden Reed not available. Matthew Golden goes out yesterday. Best position to be successful. What do you do best? Blocking on the perimeter. We get 1 block on the wide receiver screen on the 3rd and 3. You're running clear down the sideline.
Yeah, a lot of the blocks were missed.
So, again, I understand that it's easier to say, well, why didn't we just run the play that would have worked? There wasn't anything that was clear and obvious that worked yesterday.
Yeah.
They ran the ball awkwardly better than they have in certain times. But when you desperately had to have it, it was rather inconsistent.
And they did roll up the yards.
Consistently inconsistent yesterday. And I think that's going to be the toughest part of what you watch from yesterday. And it goes to the play calling, to the quarterback, to the entire offense. They need to be okay taking 4 and going. You have to love the mundane. The National Football League, the way it's being played, and if they're going to run cover 2 shell on you all game long,
that's it, Billy. Yes.
You cannot be impatient. You have to play that game and execute every single time. And again, Carolina said, I don't believe you will do it consistently, and you will do it all the way down the field.
And that's what defenses are designing now, and that's what the Packers defense is designed many times.
Yes, I mean? That's how you play.
Yeah.
But if you're, kind of.
Sort of.
Yes. But you have to be okay being 4 and 5 yards down the field. Dink and dunk. You got to be patient. And I think there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to bet and force the Packers to show that they won't get antsy and want to push the ball down the field. It's one of the best things that I love. One of the things I love about the Packers offense, they're consistently trying to take deep shots.
Yeah.
They're going to force you to say, you're not going to be able to take those. You're going to have to take 4 and 5 yards down the field and be okay just checking the ball down and taking the easy completion. Take what we give you. Take what you give you. Take what we give you. I don't know right now that the Packers are okay doing that because they want to push the ball down the field so much. That's where you get the deep shot. That was just being bottled up, calling enough of them, calling 5 or 6 of them, waiting for it, said, we're throwing it. We are throwing it because we have to. And that's when you force the ball up into triple coverage. and determine before the snap that you're chucking it. So 877-794-1973. We can be frustrated together. We got a lot of time for you. Wayne Larrabee joins us in an hour. It's wide open for you. It's no BS on the game.
97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
Not a great way to start the month.
Martin down on one knee, arm extended. Snap, placement. The kick is up, and it is good.
Oh.
And the Panthers have won.
A frustrating day all the way around for the Packers as they lose to the Panthers 16-13 at Lambeau Field. Green Bay now 5-2-1 on the season, but making matters much, much worse. Tight end Tucker Kraft is likely lost for the season with what the team reportedly believes is a torn right ACL. It was suffered in the third quarter of Sunday's loss, adding insult to injury. Today is Kraft's 25th birthday. Green Bay gets defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia 1 week from tonight. Wisconsin volleyball, a 3-set sweep winner at Ohio State. Men's basketball opening night tonight as they host Campbell, and the Bucks are at Indiana tonight. Tip-off is at 6. I'm Doug Russell on the Game Radio Network.
Green Bay loses a tough one at Lambeau to Carolina.
100% starts with me. Give credit to Carolina. They played the game that they had to play in order to beat us in regards to trying to run the football consistently throughout the course of the game and just make us dink and dunk the ball down the field, which we were able to move the ball, and then played good defense in the red zone. We had the 2 turnovers, missed a field goal.
We're reacting all day on the game. Miss an hour of no BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app. Drew and KB are talking sports and stuff every weekday from 2 to 6.
Talking to Aaron Nagler, Cheesehead TV. The prism that you're looking through the secondary is like, well, if they suck against these guys, just wait till they play Justin Jefferson. Well, who's throwing at Justin Jefferson? Like, who's left? Okay, in theory, those guys.
Detroit. It's Detroit. Here's the thing. Here's where this is driving all of this, Drew. And I know you're not quite the creature of the internet that I am. So let me school you here. What everyone is worried about in Packers fandom is it's going to be Thursday, Thanksgiving morning. You've got the sides, you've got the turkey, you got the family. You're all gathered around the TV to watch the Green Bay Packers take on the Detroit Lions in Detroit, where Detroit is a much better football team, and they have a number of weapons, and they complete a bunch of passes, and they score touchdowns, and Amon-Ra St. Brown's doing a stupid headstand, right? And then all 10 days until the next game, Lions fans are going to be in your Twitter mentions as a Packers fan, giving you holy hell. And Packers fans are going to be like, I told you we needed other corners. I knew we were going to get burned, blah, 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 blah. That is where this is all coming from.
I could see it. Micah Parsons might have a word on that, influencing that matchup.
You think?
As well, which is why they got him.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search Drew and KB on the iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Neil Sean of Journey to reflect on those who inspired and motivated him.
My dad was a big fan of Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Quincy Jones, Bola Sete. I mean, he turned me on to all the greatest jazz musicians because he was a jazzer. And yeah, I grew up with all that. And then I got myself, I kind of went towards the blues. I started listening a lot to, Albert King. I started jamming around in the city a lot at Stone Corner, which was Michael Bloomfield's old club in San Francisco with Bishop. And I made friends with Elvin. Elvin took me to Fillmore West in San Francisco and introduced me to BB. And I remember being on stage with BB when I was 13, with Bill Graham. Met Bill Graham too. It was for just, amazing time.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Neil Sean and all your favorite artists.
Alzheimer's disease is the 6th leading cause of death in the country, and it's affecting almost 7 million Americans, including 110,000 people here in Wisconsin. UW-Madison is working hard to improve the lives of those affected, offering resources to educate and the latest in research and technology. The UW initiative to end Alzheimer's has so many ways you can benefit, learn, get involved, and make a difference. Visit goalsforacure.org. That's goalsforacure.org.
You may not play for your favorite team, but you act like it. Whether you're at work or outside on the grill, you carry them with you. No, not with a jersey, but a mindset. as you crack open that ice-cold beer. Cheesehead TV and Gathering Place Brewing bring you Carry the G, a delicious and easy drinking cream ale. But it's not just for tailgating, it's for everyday life.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so creamy and cold, from the land of the green and gold.
Available throughout Wisconsin, 21 plus, drink responsibly.
The Milwaukee Admirals wrap up a 4-game homestand on Friday night when they host the Rockford Ice Hogs at Panther Arena. From the far circle, slot Carr, shoot, scores! Happy birthday, Daniel Carr! Pre-game coverage at 6:30, face-off at 7 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
This is The Game, home of No BS, DND, and Drew and KB every weekday. Live on the iHeartRadio app and YouTube, Facebook, and X. Just search 97.3 The Game.
Let's go, 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 go.
Start hour 2 of No BS with 2 thrusts. That's what you're allowed to do. At least we thought that's what you were allowed to do until Rico Dowdle tested that yesterday. He hit the 2 thrusts, got that penalty flag, and ultimately the Packers got themselves a chance to tie the game thanks to a missed extra point, and certainly didn't necessarily deserve to win the football game yesterday, but they got whacked by the Panthers at home. Packers lose 16-13 in those 1923 uniforms, and a 1923 style football game broke out. 16-13 L for today for the Green Bay Packers, holding one yesterday thanks to the 5-win Carolina Panthers. 5-win Carolina Panthers.
Not 5.
Makes it feel a lot different.
They do, yeah.
Now, Armin, I was asked yesterday, I was told yesterday, I shouldn't say. I wasn't asked, I was told. You can't win a championship winning game like that. I would point to the 2023 Kansas City Chiefs, who at home on Christmas, I believe were 14-point favorites against the Las Vegas Raiders and lost.
Oh, yeah. You can win a championship doing anything.
They then subsequently didn't lose the rest of the way out and won the title. Like, teams do this all the time.
97 Packers lost to the 0-10 Colts. And
however, generally you have one. We kind of thought that was out of the way in Cleveland, but that was just a straight collapse. This was a 60-minute allow a team to hang around, mess around long enough, and find out what happens in the National Football League, and that is you hold a 16-13 L.
It was. And if you remember, the undefeated Packers in 2011 also lost to the Chiefs that had. Now, listen, they didn't win a title. I understand what you're going to say, but good teams lose to bad teams. I think we also have to accept the reality that this team in the Carolina Panthers maybe was not as bad as we thought going in. And Vegas thought they were too, but it would have been different had Andy Dalton played like we thought was going to happen and Bryce Young played. I believe it would have been different. So it's not an excuse. It's just reality that I think we have to accept that as well. Brandon says, I finally went to my first game yesterday. Had a blast, but the whole game made me extremely angry. Understandable. I never want to see those uniforms again. And that is a question now. Are the uniforms going to take the blame? When you have a game like this and a memory like this, are the uniforms going to be tossed to the dustbin of history? Are they going to be blamed for it? I like the uniforms. I actually like the color combination. I thought it looked kind of cool. No TV numbers, but Billy, there was no TV in 1923, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
But
no, I'll be honest with you. I thought they were nice. I thought they looked good.
They looked Larry liked them.
You're never seeing them again. Now, there was a situation at, I believe, Arrowhead High School where they got some really, really sweet blue uniforms. Now, I don't have all of the specifics of the situation.
Is that why the Arrowhead blue is on your shirt? Because I never see that color for Arrow. I thought you guys
part
were
of the part of the color. It's part of their color
trim.
But they've always had red uniforms at home and white ones on the road.
That's
right?
what I thought. Yeah.
But number of years ago, they got a sweet gift and an opportunity to have some blue uniforms. Wear them for a game.
Pretty cool.
Lost. Oh boy. Those were the practice uniforms.
That's it.
From here on out.
Yeah.
We're never wearing those in a game again. So I don't know that they're going to go full on practice unis with the blues because there's not contrasting colors. They would then have to make a bunch of white ones with the blue numbers to utilize it for the whole practice game. But I got a pretty sneaky suspicion, Armin, you don't see those again.
No, I would agree
with you. I would be surprised if you see those again. because of the comment yesterday. Now, it's not because they wore those uniforms. However, again, you set the tempo. You set the narrative. You come out in 1923 like uniforms. You strategically place it on a game in November at noon against Carolina.
Oh, sure. Homecoming type game.
You set it to feel like a homecoming game.
Yeah.
You better, play like it's homecoming. And that was the problem here for the Packers.
It
didn't rise to what the occasion was that they had already set in front.
Right. Timothy Wong on YouTube. Guys, let's just call it what it is. Green Bay didn't show up. We lost disgracefully. Move on to Philly. Yeah, all that's true, but we're not moving on yet.
We still got time to feast on this one.
To wallow in this disaster that was the Packers yesterday.
Now, Philadelphia comes off a bye. They also come in with a new toy within the last 20 minutes. Tom Pelissero reporting the Eagles and Dolphins have finalized the trade, sending pass rusher Jalen Phillips to Philadelphia this morning. Once again, the Eagles loading up while Miami makes its first move in a rebuild. Teams also calling on Jalen Waddle, Bradley Chubb, and Minkah Fitzpatrick, amongst others. Both sides of the deal. It's a 3rd-round pick going in exchange for Jalen Phillips. He's a good young edge rusher, 26 years old. He's gotten hurt a number of different times. He was dinged up in college, if I'm not mistaken, quite a bit, Letty, too. But he's a really, really good player if he's on the field. And he also has quite a bit of experience with Vic Fangio, who had already worked down in Miami. So, there's going to be a couple of moves, I would assume, that get made over the next couple of days. I don't know that there's a move being made for a tight end because you're not going to replace the one that you had with a player the caliber of, but it appears Tucker Kraft's injury is very serious.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And Armen, it's tough for me to still feel like, even though the game yesterday is very frustrating and it was an extremely predictable spot for a letdown moment, not only looking ahead to Philadelphia, and I think Wayne brought this up on Friday with us, and we're going to talk to Wayne coming up in an hour. How much emotion was in that game last week in Pennsylvania against the Pittsburgh Steelers? How much the young team put into playing and being up and being ready for that game, and how much emotion went into that victory and a 2-touchdown win Sunday Night Football. It was a predictable spot for emotion to not be able to rise to that occasion. That's a great learning lesson in the NFL. And even though us as fans and feel like, well, you should have learned that lesson in 2023 when you went to New York and got DeVitoed, right? Because we think of beating Detroit, beating Kansas City, Thanksgiving night, Sunday Night Football at home, maybe 2 best wins that Jordan Love has had as the starter.
Sure.
Then you go on Monday Night Football and lose to the Giants, right? Being able to follow up those highly emotional victories with another great performance, that's something you got to learn. That's the consistency part of it. Again, they are one of the youngest teams in pro football. You're not using it as an excuse or just an explanation or a statement, but you're learning year in and year out how to win. Yesterday's a cold reminder and a great dose of reality to realize that if you don't bring the same level of attention to every single play and finishing those plays. We talk about finishing these drives, Armen. A lot of it was finishing plays, finishing tackles, finishing blocks without holding. That was the problem yesterday. It wasn't just playing a full 60 minutes. It was playing a full snap to the end of the whistle that got them beat yesterday.
And sometimes you do get beat. I mean, there's an assumption by many that if you lose a game like that, or you don't play your best, or you don't play perfect all the time, it must mean that you were not focused, ready, taking it seriously. I'm not sure that's always the case either. I mean, they had players over there that were beating you, that played well. And it sure seemed like Matt LaFleur was focused this week because he made a big deal about how he didn't care about Halloween, how all he cared about is the game. You know, you do wonder about that. Was he a little too tight? I'm not really sure. Is that an indication of that? Only guys inside themselves know if they were 100% focused and ready and up for games like that. Sometimes you do feel like you were prepared and ready to go, and it just doesn't work. But only deep down, you only know inside yourself the truth, the honest truth about stuff like that. Ryan Freedom brings up a good point. You talked about the Tucker Kraft injury, which felt devastating. It might be, unfortunately, so once we get the official word. And I do remember this as well. He said the stadium was eerily quiet when Kraft went down. The sideline went quiet from that point, no energy from offense or defense. I remember it being a big first down for the Packers once that play hit. It was a good play. The Packers were catching momentum on a drive, and then that happened, and right away, the next three were 3 and out. Like it did feel that way. It felt like the Tucker Kraft injury took the wind out of the sails, maybe a little bit of the offense. You kind of in that moment realized the emotion of it in terms of how much this guy emotionally meant to the team. And then all of a sudden you see an injury like that. There seemed to be this kind of Paul understanding this could be bad. Oh my goodness, Tucker just went down. It's a credit to him to have created already that environment of players, if they're in the back of their mind saying, dang, we need him. And that just took the wind out of our sails. And then right away, momentum was stopped on that drive. That was a good point, Brian. I was in the stadium, obviously, but it sure felt that way when he went down. So that's a good point.
Josh Jacobs, I wanted to have some of this here. And he talks about it after the game, and you can just hear the emotion in the voice. And they had just been in the locker room talking to Tucker Kraft, who, Luddy, you were in there and said he was on crutches in the locker room, kind of hanging out, just waiting. And the emotion in Josh Jacobs' voice, you can hear, how serious it potentially is.
Was there anything different in that touchdown drive late in the game that you noticed that helped you guys get over the hump?
Nah, I mean, me personally, I felt good. I felt a lot of lanes out there the whole day. I mean, running the ball, I seen a lot even on the bad plays that we did have. I still felt like it was a lot out there. So, not necessarily. I think we just ran the ball.
Josh, what do you think the confidence level is with the kicking game right now? And do you think that played a part in going to it on 4th and 8 in the red zone in the 4th?
Nah, we're not worried about any kind of confidence in what he does. We know what kind of player he is and what he brings. It was just one of those games where we needed a spark. It was one of those games where, we were flat on offense. So something to, help us out a little bit and get over the hump was, maybe going for it, seeing how it goes. So that's probably, my thought of going into, going for it on 4th down.
Josh, did it seem like they were kind of effective on time of possession and kind of keeping the ball away from you guys as well?
Yeah, we know teams going to play us that way. A lot of teams, especially, how explosive our offense can be. A lot of teams just going to run the ball, hold the ball, and, limit our possessions and try to make us, beat them being disciplined and, converting with the opportunities that we have. So, today when we don't convert with the opportunities that we have, especially, like I said, in the red zone, it hurts against a team like that.
What's it like to see Tucker go down with the injury like that?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him, so I can't really all the way speak on it, but I know who he is for this team and what he means to this team. And, that's a heavy blow for us. A lot of the guys, even, in the locker room and even in the huddle afterwards, we felt that. And, he's a leader on this team. He's a captain. And, he's one of those guys that you really love to have on your team. So that's a heavy blow for us.
I don't want to read too much into it, but you seem emotional about it, Josh, because he means a lot to this team.
Yeah, it's tough, man. In my opinion, he's a top 3 wide receiver. Tight end in the NFL. And not even just that, man. The type of man he is, and the way he carries himself, and the way he, supports the team, and the way he pushes everybody every day. Like I said, man. That's a heavy blow. I'm praying for him, and hopefully it's not as bad as it looks.
Josh, what did Coach LaFleur say to you guys after the game today?
Just, it's the NFL. When you don't come out and play and you're not ready to play, any team can beat you on any given night. So that's on us. A lot of us have to, look ourselves in the mirrors and, get back to work and lock in this next week, knowing our schedule coming up. But, yeah, man, you never play down to your competition or play up or whatever. You got to be who you are. And, I think that's something that we still have to learn.
Do you think the win play? How frustrating is it at this point of the season when you guys just can't be consistent for quarters after quarters?
We still yet to play a complete game as a team. We say that's something that we strive in, every day, and not being able to do it, it does feel weird. Overly relying on the defense at times as on the offense or vice versa. It's something that we have to clean up, especially, later in the season when these games start to mean a lot. And, when you get to the playoffs when they mean everything. So, yeah, that's definitely something we have to correct.
Is that the frustrating part? This is a game that doesn't matter if it's against a premier opponent or not. Just counting the standings can affect what the Flash does.
Definitely losing to guys like that and just the way we lost. I don't think it was a lack of effort or anything like that, but, yeah, that one hurt.
That does hurt Josh Jacobs after the game. And I thought it was really, really well said, where you can tell how, one, the player that Josh Jacobs is, or that Tucker Kraft is, the effectiveness that he has, but the leadership that he brings. That was an emotional letdown. That was a big, big blow at the time for the team. That they're in a spot where, while they're also looking for an identity, they're going to have to look for one of their more productive players, a substitution for him, because you can't just replace Tucker Kraft. You're going to have to find a lot of guys to be able to supplement that kind of production. And the interesting thing is, now we're also going to see Jordan Love without maybe his favorite third down target. I think Romeo Doubs is right there alongside, but Kraft had really ascended to the go-to guy in those spots, Armen. And that's going to be the biggest thing that they're going to have to learn from.
Yeah, he really did, obviously, and his yards after the catch really helped this team get explosive plays in situations where they couldn't do it just through the air. It created explosives, and that's a very important thing in this day and age, and a lot of it was his legs and yak. Luke Musgrave's a good receiver. He had a catch yesterday later in the game. That was big. And Fitzpatrick, I think Billy in his role has been pretty good as a blocker. So maybe they try and, match that production in the aggregate with those two guys. But obviously nothing replaces, as you said, Tucker Kraft. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because it seemed like he was really hitting the peak, starting to become a special player, a guy that was a weapon that defenses had to account for. And now you've become worse because you don't have him on the field. Or that's what we're fearing. And that's kind of the scary part about this. The Packers teams have overcome big injuries before, and they can do it again. It's just going to make it all that much tougher. But now, look, this is your chance if you're Luke Musgrave, a guy that came in as a higher draftee, a little more touted. Tucker Kraft kind of emerged and moved past you. Part of it because of the injuries that Luke Musgrave had early in his career. He kind of was behind in his development. So this is your chance to show the club, show everybody, say, look, I can still be who you think I might have been, or I can be that player. And his strength is definitely more the speed and the catching, Billy. I think you would agree with that, than the blocking. So I don't know if the all-around tight end thing is what you're going to get, but it doesn't mean he can't develop into that guy, at least with more reps. So we'll see how that thing goes.
Now,
but Dobbs did have a lot of nice third down.
One guy that I would have definitely enjoyed seeing, knowing that you were going to have to combat the running loss, because Tucker Kraft is such an elite blocker as well, that you're going to lose some in the run game here as well. Ben Sims, now on the Minnesota Vikings after he gets claimed because you had to cut him to keep Lucas Haversick. 7:16, we got to start the kicker conversation.
Got to.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Because you clearly want to keep him being Lucas Haversick. You cut a player that you've kept for over a year and a half at tight end at a position where you rotate. And Ben Sims has played in games already this year. So the McManus injury then tied to potential lack of effectiveness. He's missed 3 kicks in 2 games. And you have the healthy substitute, who is Ben Nails, who is too good to cut, but not good enough to be active, while McManus either, goes on IR for 4 games, and you figure out until the leg is 1,000% good.
Yeah.
Like, that's the strangest story right now. And I don't know when we get the answer. And Matt LaFleur said it last night. I'm not worried about it. He missed a kick. It's going to happen. Missed kick is going to happen. Well, yeah, it is going to happen. But when it's directly after you miss games because of injury, you miss a game because of an injury, and then it's clear and obvious that it's somewhat hampered, and you have the ability to replace right here, what are you doing? Like, why are we forcing to go back to this when it seemed pretty clear and obvious that you needed a substitute? You have one right there on staff, on site.
And Brandon McManus, his lack of effectiveness put them in that position, really, in my opinion, because you have Haversick, who steps in for 2 games, does his job. Normally, if you have a guy you count on coming back, you say, great, thank you, your watch is ended. We're comfortable with McManus as long as he's healthy, but he's been missing kicks. And those are important kicks, and kicks you can't miss. You can't miss 40-yarders, man.
No.
You can't miss 40-yarders, unfortunately, in this league. Like the level of standard has stepped up, and you're not Braden Arvison. You're being paid to make these kicks. And if you're not reliable, the Packers, I think, are now feeling a position that they feel like they have to have that backup plan. And Billy, to your point, he said, LaFleur said, I'm not worried. It's missing a kick. He says that, but he's worried. I mean, they're worried because Brandon McManus has now missed multiple kicks in 2 weeks coming back. If you're not worried, I'm sorry. You can't convince me it doesn't have some effect on going for that 4th and 8 decision. You can't tell me it doesn't have any effect on that, because otherwise, I pray it does, because otherwise that's a weird decision, right, to make.
It's a stunning decision.
Weird decision, stunning. So that has to have some of it, and you have to have some level of concern about it, whether it's health, whether it's not about McManus, because you just, in this league now, where I got guys making 70-yard kicks like it's chicken soup, whatever it is, you can't be missing those kicks. You can't be doing it.
ESPN just flashing this stat up here for the Packers game on Sunday. They scored 13 points. They did not punt. It's the fewest points scored in a game without punting for the Packers since 67.
It was so weird of a game. I sat there, I think it was like 9:30, and I kind of got my head back, and I, for a second, realized, like, I don't think we punted today. When did we punt, and when am I forgetting the punt? No, we didn't punt.
And that's where 715 texter said, keep it simpler on, because he said, Billy, stop making excuses. This is BS. Okay. The inability to adapt and adjust is totally on Matt and the coaches. See it every game. It's time for LaFool to go. I do like the LaFool, Latoul, LaFlop. They are getting very, very creative. He said, keep it simpler. There's too many offensive substitutions. The last touchdown, one unit was driving up and down the field. You're wearing throwbacks. Drive the damn ball down the field and down their throats. Well, they did. They got into scoring position 5 times.
Did, yes.
And then were unable to convert. So driving the ball down the field wasn't the problem. It's you miss a kick. You have, again, a sequence in which you go fumbled snap, sack, false start, drop. Once you get inside the red area. You drove the ball. That wasn't the problem.
Right.
The problem was finishing off in the red zone. That's a totally different story. It's the team's worst red zone percentage in over 3 years in a season for the Packers yesterday. A perfect recipe and a perfect storm for a 16-13 L.
It was weird. And the Packers had almost 400 yards of total offense, 369 yards, 20 first downs. There were losses early in the 2010 season that kind of reminded me of this. There was one against, I think, the Dolphins, or was it the Washington Redskins at the time? 16-13, exactly like this. Missed field goal.
Dolphins.
Weird. Was it the Dolphins? Thank you. Mm-hmm. Weird games like this. I know people don't want to hear the comparison. I don't know if this team's going to win the Super Bowl. I hope so. I sure doesn't feel that way right now. But there were losses like this that just felt weird. Like, this team can play better. This team is better than this. Weird things happen in this game. But, Billy, also, you got to get out. You cannot hurt yourself so often on offensive penalties, and you got to get off the field on 3rd down or 4th down, as it were.
Turned into 4th down most of the game.
You can't fumble. You can't miss field goal. You can't do all these things and sit there and try and figure out, well, how do we lose this game? Well, you can't make self-inflicted mistakes.
Armen, I was wrong. It was Redskins. They lost 13-16 in overtime. The next week at home, lost to the Dolphins 20-23 in overtime.
So they were both correct. That's what it was. So I don't know. This team is still 5-2-1. As someone asked me yesterday, how's this team not losing games? I mean, sometimes it feels that way. But then, Billy, you look up and they're doing a lot of things well, right? I mean, Jordan Love was completing a lot of balls yesterday.
They gained 370 yards, and they were 7 of 13 on 3rd down.
It might have been their best.
Those are some good numbers.
Rushing numbers of the season. Yards per carry, at least.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is Steve said they won't win 5 games the rest of the way out. Now, if you play the way they played today, or they played yesterday, it will be hard to win 5 games the rest of the way out. He also said, give me a break. These guys are millionaires. You need to be able to perform their jobs properly week in and week out. Well, that's a great sports utopia. Steve, I'll tell you this. Every single team in the National Football League deals with consistency and bringing your best performance week in and week out. That's why we watch it. That's why we watch it. If everybody brought their A game every single week, it wouldn't be as fun as it was yesterday. And you wouldn't be the only team in the division that lost as a touchdown plus favorite yesterday at home. Oh. Now, the other interesting thing is you wake up today and you're still in first place. Strange feeling after a 16-13 L against the Carolina Panthers, and maybe the biggest loss still. The fear is a torn right ACL for Tucker Kraft. Sources telling Ian Rappaport, The Athletic, everybody calling it out, and we'll see if those indications and fears are true later on here today when we get the final take the final theme from the Magnet. You'll hear those comments from Matt LaFleur coming up at 3 o'clock live on Drew and KB. 877-794-1973. A lot more great talking text line messages. Most frustrating part of yesterday's game, all of it, a lot of it, and more to come when we discuss it with our friend Wayne Larrabee, who called the action on the Packers Radio Network. He's going to give us his diagnosis coming up at 8 o'clock. And we want to know from you, because it's misery loves company. It's the closest any team has been to winning a title. And how is it not the Toronto Blue Jays on Saturday night? More into the epic World Series we saw, as well as the entire football weekend. It's a meatless Monday. It's a I hate losing football games Monday. It's no BS with Billy and Sarian on the game.
Want to watch No BS?
We'll do anything it takes.
They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
We have a place for it.
Just search 97.3 The Game. The Packers fall to the Panthers at Lambeau.
Got to do a better job coaching, obviously. And then ultimately, we got to go do a better job and just relying on our core fundamentals. You can't have holding penalties. You can't fumble the football. You got to be able to tackle. You got to be able to stop the run. Just base football principles. And if you don't do them well, you're susceptible to getting beat. Doesn't matter who you're playing.
We're talking about it all day on The Game.
I'm Hunter Baumgart with a programming update. Where can you find the games you want to listen to and when? We've got the answers. Tonight, you can hear Monday Night Football, courtesy of Westwood One, on our sister station, Fox Sports 920 WOKY in Milwaukee and 1070 The Game in Madison. The 3-4-1 Dallas Cowboys host the 2-5 Arizona Cardinals. 6 o'clock pregame, 7:15 kickoff this evening. I'm Hunter Baumgart for The Game Radio Network.
Classic Cuts.
Elton John has been churning out hits since the early 70s with the help of songwriting partner Bernie Taupin. Between 1972 and 75, he had 7 consecutive #1 albums, including Honky Chateau, which spawned the 72 hit Rocket Man. Bernie says that the lyrics for that song came to him in the most unusual way.
When my parents still lived in Lincolnshire, I came back to visit them once, and I was driving down from London, and for no apparent reason, the first few lines of that song came into my head, and I was scrambling around in the car and I couldn't find a piece of paper or a pen or anything. So I was driving along these country lanes, like skidding around, I skidded into their house, like crashed through the door, no hello or anything. Give me a piece of paper, and wrote it down, and then it just developed from there.
iHeartRadio soundtrack flashback.
Michelle Pfeiffer as a hard teacher? Sure. 1995's Dangerous Minds gave us a new look at the actress with an equally hard soundtrack to boot. Coolio helped kick off the film with Gangsta's Paradise.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
It's the greatest story in sports.
Star dropping straight back. Kennedy throws, has the ball. It is a good touchdown.
I'm Doug Russell, and this is Tales from 1265, an insider's look at football's most storied franchise. A franchise that has had its dynasties.
This is the first Super Bowl trophy, and it's something Green Bay can keep. We're going to have a new trophy each year.
And its rebirths.
Every major football decision will be made by Ron Wolf.
I realize I'm a Green Bay Packer now, and maybe I can prove that I am worth the first-round pick next year, but just got to be patient.
But I was really impressed with the coaching staff, with the whole organization, and with the direction the team is going. I think they have a total commitment to winning.
Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolay Law, your local award-winning injury lawyers. If you've been injured, get Nicolay, Wisconsin's winning team of lawyers that will get you back in the game. Tales from 1265 is a production of iHeartRadio Podcasts and is available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Classic Cuts.
A lot of bands try to prevent fans from recording and bootlegging their concerts. But for Burton Cummings of the Guess Who, an unauthorized taper unexpectedly proved to be a big help to the success of American Woman.
It was jammed on stage, and no one would ever have heard it except there was a kid bootlegging the show that night. And I didn't realize until we were about halfway through. The guys started playing the riff, and I just started singing whatever came out of my head. There was a kid bootlegging the show, and I saw the microphone, and I motioned to the road manager, get that tape, get that tape. We can't have this bootleg going on. So we got the tape off the kid, and we listened to it later. And here was this great thing. American Woman, Stay Away From Me. I don't need your war machines. I don't need your ghetto scenes. All that was not crafted lyric. That was right on the spot.
Sparkle someone else's eyes. Now, woman, get away from me.
Martin down on one knee, arm extended. Snap, placement. The kick is up, and it is good. Oh. And the Panthers have won.
The Milwaukee Admirals wrap up a 4-game homestand on Friday night when they host the Rockford Ice Hogs at Panther Arena. From the far circle, slot Carr, shoot, scores! Happy birthday, Daniel Carr! Pre-game coverage at 6:30, face-off at 7 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Message marked urgent. We're here for you now on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line.
Hey, I'm just trying to find some answers here.
At 1-877-794-1973.
No BS on the game. Billy and Sarian with you on YouTube and X. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us out with the algorithms that we're learning about, and we're trying to take this terrestrial to the digital phase.
Yeah,
we're trying to modernize. We're trying to be like the kids.
Trying to be like the kids. Trying to be all like the cool kids that know how to leverage different platforms and reach a new audience on a different aspect and do all these kind of things, and we're trying to adapt and be new. So we want to see right here on the stream what's up, YouTube, Twitter, X, Facebook, and a lot of people jumping in today early. I'm not surprised, Billy.
Not surprised.
Packer Mondays do that to you.
Nope, especially when it's a misery loves company Monday, and we need a lot of it.
Yeah.
Friend says, how does an NFL team not get up for a game? You only play 17. And it's a very, very fair question, and I totally get it. You see it all the time. And it's what we say cliche trap game. And I don't believe in a trap game. Like, yeah, you don't have to believe in it, but they happen every single year where teams across the NFL, we watch the Packers. So we say, why do the Packers always do it?
That's the thing, Billy.
Again, we watch teams across the NFL do this year in and year out. Play one-score games, lose games that you don't have any business losing. It happens. Now, when it happens twice in the span of the first half of the season, that is concerning. The other parts, the processes in the game maybe are more concerning than the L, but it's just a frustrating way to go down in a game where, like, you are so close so many different times and then again shoot yourself in the foot. To say that it was all bad yesterday, you can't say it. You get a strip sack. First one of the year. Let's go.
Becomes a game.
Go. They gained yards.
They gained yards off it.
The ball is going to bounce in a wrong direction. Yesterday, the ball bounced in the opposite direction. You also threw it in that direction multiple times. You know what I'm saying here, Armen? In a game that the avalanche of momentum was rolling against you, the Packers at no time did something to slow that avalanche. Instead, a lot of times threw new patches of fresh snow down for that avalanche to swoop down through the mountain and beat them yesterday 16-13.
Or to help themselves overtake that with great play of their own. Everyone was complicit of not playing well enough, and the great players didn't play. Now, actually, I was excited when X had his pick because I'm like, all right, that's what we needed. Interception, the red zone. Xavier McKinney's coming up big. Great players make plays. Just couldn't, I thought that might be the turning point, but it wasn't. And I think you brought it up a little bit on Packers 13, and it's true. You need your best players to play great to win games. The Panthers have, whatever you feel about their roster of talent, they have some guys that are talented, and those guys played great. Talk about their corners being really good.
Yeah,
Ted
J.C.
McMillan.
Horn's a stud.
Ted McMillan had some big catches. Brown, the big guy in the middle, right? In the D line.
Yeah, Derek Brown.
He was awesome. He was forcing
Drew holding penalties on the same drive.
So their guys played well. Micah Parsons, unfortunately, he's been great the last couple weeks. It wasn't last night for him. We didn't hear Rashawn Gary's name. We didn't hear anybody's name. We got the pick. It was great, but not enough great play from your players. And you're right. It does happen around the league, Billy, but the statement I would make to that, it's like, why can't they get up? Why can't a team get up for 17 games? Hey, a team got up yesterday. It was the Carolina Panthers. They got up to play yesterday. So there's 2 teams in the field. But they're saying the same thing. What's TJ Lang saying in Detroit today? 97 won the ticket over there in Detroit in the flagship. Yeah. It's the same situation. So
actually coming off a bye.
There are 2 teams out there. We want our team. The expectation is that they should be playing better and be perfect every week, which is not going to happen. We know that, but the expectation clearly was not met yesterday for the Green Bay Packers, and no one really washed themselves in glory yesterday, except the punting game was non-existent because we didn't punt. The kicking game wasn't good. The defensive secondary was okay, but Billy, it also felt like every time the Panthers needed a big play, they got one, and usually on the ground, Rico Dowdle killed you yesterday.
But a couple of times through the pass game, they got the big play, and obviously the Keyshawn Nixon penalty in the end zone is backbreaking as well. So it was like everybody was complicit in there's not just one individual spot to point to, and it just happens. But to see a team that is waiting in the wings, watching and seeing that run defense.
Yikes.
After yesterday, Colby Wooden goes out. Now, he said after the game, I believe he said, I'm playing on Monday night. So we hope that, because Colby Wooden, friend of Packers OT, phenomenal guest on Packers OT, was missed in the interior of the defense yesterday. And also just consistently, Dowdle was like, there were a couple of different times where the Packers' initial surge in the run game was good. Pretty amazing patience by Rico Dowdle yesterday.
He was really
I was
good.
a little unfamiliar with his game. Now, obviously, I know a 1,000-yard rusher from last year in Dallas.
Yeah.
Can't say I watched a ton. I thought a lot of it was empty calories a year ago, because who else was doing anything in Dallas last year with the injuries that they had? So I kind of understood why Dallas let him go. And he has the massive revenge game, and you know that he's good. He was phenomenal yesterday at being able to pick his spots and really decisive when necessary. Again, one of the best runs that he had ends up getting called back in an illegal formation. So that going into next week is almost more impactful. Of Saquon Barkley finally gets something rolling a week ago against his former team in the New York Football Giants. They get into a bye week, figure some stuff out, licking their chops for what the Packers run defense put on film yesterday.
And a good twitch, good burst from Dowdle, and you kind of sensed it when Hubbard came in. It was a lot less effective when Chuba Hubbard had to come in and take some carries. So there was a sense of, okay, this guy is just really good and playing well. Like it wasn't like Chuba Hubbard was doing his thing. You had the point where Larry McCarron on the network was begging for Chuba Hubbard to come back in. Come on, put in Hubbard, put in Chuba, because when Rico Dowdle had to sit a little bit, Chuba Hubbard only 5 carries, 17 yards. So the Packers had him figured out. So it was Rico Dowdle's ability, and you have to give him credit there. John on the YouTube, the NFC North, the division no one wants to win. I would go the other way and say everybody wants to win it.
Everybody wants to win it.
There are 19 wins in the NFC North, Billy. This is one of the best divisions you might have seen. I mean, this is the best division in football, in my opinion, but it might be one of the best we've seen through 9 weeks. There are 19 wins in this division right now. Incredible stuff.
Well, and it looks a lot different if McCarthy's going to play the way he did yesterday.
That's a great point, Billy. Yeah.
I mean, he was nails yesterday, and the 5 games off, whether he is 1,000% healthy and there's just no such thing as an ankle injury that has ever thought and crossed his mind since, or if there was a little bit of a, now you see what the speed of the NFL is, let's sit down and learn and be ready to go from it. Hey, man, Bryce Young did the same thing a year ago. Now, he didn't sit for 5 games. He sat for a couple, and he looked a lot better after coming in. So this division does look a heck of a lot different if they're going to do that, and the Vikings are going to be able to put that out on tape, because he was really, really good yesterday. He delivered some big-time throws, none bigger than the last one. To Naylor to ice that game.
Absolutely.
I was listening to a little bit of Dan Campbell last night. He's like, man, we got him exactly what we wanted, man. Like, they asked him like if he was going to onside kick, why he didn't onside kick. Why would I? We got exactly what we wanted. They had to make a play to win the game. And at some point on the other side, they make the plays. And the Panthers in the game that we're talking about yesterday forced the Packers to make a ton of the same plays. The same plays, the mundane plays. That's what I'm wondering in the offense. If you're going to be okay being just workmanlike, 4 or 5 yards at a play, 4 or 5 yards at a tote, run the ball as much as possible. And then there's certain people that didn't want to run the ball as much as they were yesterday. I thought you needed to run it a ton. And at times it was really, really effective. At times it wasn't at all. And some of which was they had good runs on one drive and had 2 holding penalties in 4 plays. And then you can't run the ball when it's 2nd and 20. Derek in St. Paul said, Billy, looking for your thoughts on the Packers O-line play. Seems like they're struggling to win at the line of scrimmage, and it's affecting the run game. Also seems like these long developing plays, they're having a hard time holding up. Well, you have a hard time holding up in the pass game, especially if you can't run the ball consistently and have that as a threat. I thought they at times opened up some holes yesterday, but Carolina dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides. I mean, Derek Brown and A'Shawn Robinson
no doubt
held the point of attack firm. And, you know, on the Packers broadcast, that was a part of what the boys talked about on the first look right away, was the initial spots on this defense for Carolina. And you mentioned J.C. Horn, phenomenal corner, one of the better ones in football.
Played well.
But Robinson and Brown are 2 of their best players, and they played spectacularly yesterday, especially after Banks goes down with the stinger. And you have to move Sean Ryan over to left guard, Jordan Morgan at right guard, which was kind of interesting, by the way. But again, they know a lot more about it than I. I thought Jordan Morgan liked the left side more. Now he's more a right side guy. That was the way they went with it. They did not generate enough movement at all at any point in time. Now, the pass game, I thought they actually held up well, but it was because they were able to keep somewhat off balance Carolina, and Carolina really started bringing some heat later into the game.
It felt like they had too many also unblocked rusher blitzes. At some point, like someone missed an assignment at somewhere where you totally, one thing to get pressure, one thing to say, okay, we absolutely have to throw this away right away, and totally blows up the play. Felt like too many of those. I don't know why that was happening. And Billy, you talk about the offensive line. Good stuff, Billy. I'm glad you pointed that out. I wanted to hear you talk about it. It is weird because we're still talking about a team that rushed for 4 yards a carry. Yeah. And we're still talking about Josh Jacobs that ran for 5 yards a carry. So it is kind of odd, but even though there was that level of success numbers-wise, it never felt like they were able to establish their presence and impose their will on the ground. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. There were too many times where the Packers got stuffed up to create bad down and distance situations, not consistent enough to keep it going. And once again, we talked about the duality of the weirdness of this game, and the Packers moved the ball but then couldn't score. So it was a weird situation. And the rushing, I think, is a part of that. Never felt successful, although the numbers would suggest otherwise. I don't know what to make of it other than you can't make so many mistakes. Like, I think that's where I will come down to it. So, Billy, good point. There was a lot of shuffling on the O-line, but there was shuffling on the O-line on both sides, and one team
Carolina's playing a 7th and 8th string guy, so,
exactly.
or a 7th and 8th guy in their rotation. So that's not the problem.
Same with the wind
there yesterday.
I don't want to hear about the wind anymore because one kicker made it in the wind and one didn't. So I don't want to hear about the wind anymore either.
It was intense. It was intense.
It's swirling more than anything.
It was. I'm not saying it didn't exist. I'm saying you have to overcome these things.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Both teams play with them.
Right.
Both teams play with them. Now, there's a lot of blame to go around. I appreciate everyone pointing some thumbs, not only fingers. Maggie and Georgia. Nope, it's my fault. I've worn my salute to service sweatshirt 3 times. When I wore it in Carolina, in Nashville, and at the bar yesterday. They've lost all 3 times. I won't wear it during a game again.
Thank you.
I love that, Maggie. That's what taking accountability is all about.
That's what we're talking
about. That's what looking in the mirror and saying, what can I do better?
Yes.
All right.
How about we start holding people accountable? Maggie holding herself accountable. But rock that salute to service sweatshirt any other day of the week.
Now you're wearing it every game.
Troops.
Yep.
No doubt about it. 877-794-1973. Or you can be like our Wyoming texter said, hi, Sarian and Schmidt.
What up, Wyoming? Come on now.
Was that one of you that brought the volleyball to the damn Packers game yesterday? Shaking my damn head.
That was a beach ball, not a volleyball. It was
a beach ball.
That was mine.
Luddy did seem rather frustrated when it got popped on the sideline.
I think my favorite part of the volleyball, the beach ball moment was old boy in the O-line tried to throw it or give it to the thing and threw it and it blew back. So Coker had to go and chase it down.
I was just glad it wasn't a Trojan. You know, a lot of times that's the beach ball that ends up floating onto the field.
Sure.
Ran out of those, sorry.
Good one, Luddy.
Rundown of Andrew Ludwig's weekend there coming up on the other side. And we'll also give you a rundown of what happened across the rest of the NFL.
Good endorsement idea for Luddy.
You're smiling over there. You're proud of your boy over there.
It was funny.
Good for him. We're proud of you, Luddy. Nice work. We'll talk to Wayne Larrabee coming up in 15 minutes as well. It's No BS on the Game.
I want to tell you about my new obsession, Daisy French Onion Dip. One of my guilty pleasures during football season is eating dips with chips, wings, and veggies while watching the big game. And now Daisy came out with the delicious Daisy French Onion Dip and Daisy Ranch Dip, and these are game changers. Delicious homemade dips made with real herbs and spices and other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. So give Daisy French Onion Dip a try. Look for Daisy French Onion Dip at a grocery store near you.
97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
So everything that could have gone wrong for the Packers did at Lambeau Field on Sunday. The game, a 16-13 loss to the Carolina Panthers. As if that wasn't bad enough, Green Bay also loses Tucker Kraft. The Fears torn ACL. Kraft will have an MRI today. The Packers fall to 5-2-1 with the loss. Green Bay gets defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia 1 week from tonight. Elsewhere in the NFC North, it was the Bears beating the Bengals in Cincinnati 47-42, and the Vikings outlast the Lions in Detroit 27-24. Wisconsin men's basketball opening night tonight as they play host to Campbell. Tip-off is at 7. The new college football rankings are out. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia are 1 through 5. Numbers 6 through 10, Oregon, Ole Miss, BYU, Texas Tech, and Notre Dame. I'm Doug Russell on the Game Radio Network.
Green Bay loses a tough one at Lambeau to Carolina.
You just got to be able to, execute and do things right, on Sunday. I mean, you can do everything right during the week. If you're not ready to, do it in the game, you're not doing it in the game, then, that doesn't matter anymore. So, I think we got to have that stuff translate more to the games in terms of that, execution, attention to detail, and just the fundamental stuff so we can eliminate those, self-inflicted wounds.
We're reacting all day on the game. Stay tuned.
You do like to grab attention.
No BS will be back in just a moment.
The entire world watched.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And humanity saw that the sky was not the limit. Achievement, pass it on, from the foundation for a better life.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Daryl Hall to get the scoop on writing the song Private Eyes.
I sat down to this little, a Korg organ, and I turned on, we had a little box called a Roland CompuRhythm, which was this proto drum machine, and it said rock and roll 1, and I pressed it and went boom, dick, 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 boom, dick, dick, boom, dick, right? And that was going around, and I started playing on the organ, boom, and I started doing that, and it's the dick, dick, and that is literally what you're hearing on the record. So I said, this sounds pretty good. Then I started going, in it. I'm just sitting there by myself doing all this. And I said, okay, I got something going here. So I said, turn on the tape. And Bob Clearmountain turned on the tape. And I just played a whole song through. And as fast as it took me to play it is how fast I wrote it.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Daryl Hall and all your favorite artists.
It's the greatest story in sports.
Star dropping straight back. Kennedy throws, has the ball. It is a touchdown.
I'm Doug Russell, and this is Tales from 1265, an insider's look at football's most storied franchise. A franchise that has had its dynasties.
This is the first Super Bowl trophy.
And its rebirths.
Every major football decision will be made by Ron Wolf.
Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolay Law, your local award-winning injury lawyers, and can be heard on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to talk about the power of a song.
Take someone somewhere else. God knows I've been taken so many places by other writers, other performers. That is the power of the song and the power of the performer. Without music, my life would have been, it's been a constant, from 3 years old when I started to play, it's been a constant, whether I've been happy, sad, breaking records, being at my lowest ebb ever, I've always had music with me. And it's always got me through the good and the bad.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
You may not play for
your favorite team, but you act like it. Whether you're at work or outside on the grill, you carry them with you. No, not with a jersey, but a mindset as you crack open that ice-cold beer. Cheesehead TV and Gathering Place Brewing bring you Carry the G, a delicious and easy drinking cream ale. But it's not just for tailgating, it's for everyday life.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so bring me a cold from the land of the green and gold.
Available throughout Wisconsin. 21 plus. Drink responsibly.
Alzheimer's disease is the sixth leading cause of death in the country, and it's affecting almost 7 million Americans, including 110,000 people here in Wisconsin. UW-Madison is working hard to improve the lives of those affected, offering resources to educate and the latest in research and technology. The UW initiative to end Alzheimer's has so many ways you can benefit, learn, get involved, and make a difference. Visit goalsforacure.org. That's goalsforacure.org.
Disregard, find another friend and discard as you lose the arguments in a cable car. Hanging above as the canyon comes between everyone.
No BS on the game. Billy and Sari, I'm back with you on YouTube and X and on iHeart. That's where our friend 715 said, you guys are the best show on iHeart. You guys are too funny. Thanks for getting my day off to a great start.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. That's a pretty big, the best show on all the iHeart. That's...
Ain't that iHeart Radio?
I'm not sitting there. I'm not going to sit and disagree with you. That's a high bar to match, but I do appreciate that. We really appreciate
two
that.
words for you. Thank you.
Billy, you want an O-line question? I know you love this stuff.
Let me hear it.
All right. Packers 1006 on Twitter.
There you go, 10.
By the way, thank you on Twitter, X, Facebook, and of course YouTube for all the contributions, comments, questions, and everything. We're getting them from all angles on all platforms. That's what we like. It's too late to go back now, but how big of an impact do you think Jenkins not playing his best position and then not having a true center is having on this O-line? Last year, O-line was better with him at guard and Myers at center.
Well, and that's the interesting thing. I saw that a couple of times yesterday as well. Because Elton came into the league as a center, and many people thought that his best position still would be center, even though he was playing at guard and playing at a Pro Bowl level for a couple of different years. I also don't think he's the problem. Now, maybe I'm not watching it correctly, but he does. In a lot of the situations, he doesn't seem to be the initial problem to me. He's playing with two kind of inexperienced guards. There's a reason why Sean Ryan was kind of sat down for a game. Now, he said, didn't really appreciate being sat down during a contract year. Well, there's a reason why. And then
I don't appreciate and
so I think there, one goes together, sure. and that the play in the interior just hasn't been good enough. He is the point man there, but I think he's getting a lot more blame than necessarily what should be directed at him. However, his play hasn't been good enough.
Yeah.
So maybe, and Myers, I thought Josh Myers was better last year than everybody also thought.
In the league?
And then in the league. He went into free agency, and we were doing the show on the first day of free agency. I'm like, well, John Runyon just got 3 years, $30 million.
Mm-hmm.
Myers is going to get broke off.
Then he got
1 year, $3 million to be a backup.
He got the equivalent of having to buy the singles ticket for the homecoming dance because nobody wanted to dance with him.
Wow.
Right? Is that
yes.
too? Is that
yeah,
too?
No, that's pretty good.
That's pretty
it
spot
is homecoming
on.
Season, I think.
And he was just hoping somebody
over.
was there. Now, granted, he actually got to dance with somebody's date because he's now starting with the Jets.
And actually, they probably say to themselves, "We got a good deal on this deal, huh?"
Playing okay. Now, granted, they're 1-7, so maybe it's not as good as it could be. But
sure.
I thought last year he was better, and I thought he had been better for them over the last couple of years.
So maybe,
one of those you don't know how good you have it until it's gone kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't see it being on Elton, even though he gets called for the whistle, he gets flagged for one of the holds yesterday. In totality, the lack of run and an initial burst doesn't seem like it's coming from the middle, but he is the one that coordinates it all. So
yeah,
I think maybe if the difference is Josh Myers better than Sean Ryan for the majority of the time, and that's the kind of trade-off that you're doing, that would be to be determined. But sadly, we're not going to be able to do that
Yeah, and I do wonder when, not the problem, but then also, is it part of making your O-line great? That's a different thing as well. Versatility is something the Packers really value in the O-line, but when does that also become, a detriment when it's like, all right, we don't know where to put him? Love to have a Lucas Patrick circa 2020 right now where he could just play anywhere and everywhere, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it would definitely help out, and you need some of that, and you definitely need to be able to get more in the ground game, and it's going to be tough also with a lack of Tucker Kraft in the building. Fear is that he tore his ACL. We'll talk about that amongst a lot of other things in that Packers loss with our friend Wayne Larrabee coming up on the other side. The voice of the Green Bay Packers leads off hour number 3. A lot more talk and text line messages. And we had somebody say, can you guys give a little bit more on where Micah Parsons went? You'll hear from Micah Parsons as well coming up on No BS.
Green Bay loses a tough one at Lambeau to Carolina.
Martin down on one knee, arm extended. Snap, placement. The kick is up. And it is good. Oh. And the Panthers have won.
We're reacting all day on the game. Miss an hour of No BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app. Coming up next, Wayne Larrabee, the voice of the Packers, will join the guys.
There is your dagger.
Stay tuned.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
September of 77, American duo Steely Dan released their 6th album, Asia. It goes to number 3 in the States on the strength of 2 top 20 hits, Peg and Deacon Blues. In October, the major label debut album by Meatloaf is released, hits number 14 in the U.S., and goes on to be one of the best-selling albums of all time. Leonard Skinner released the album Street Survivor. 3 days later, singer Ronnie Van Zant and 2 other band members were killed in a plane crash. The album goes to number 5 in the States, and the single What's Your Name hits number 13.
What's your name, little girl? What's your name?
In November, Eric Clapton's Slow Hand is released. It goes to number 2, driven by 3 hit singles, Cocaine, Wonderful Tonight, and Lay Down Sally.
Lay down, Sally, and rest here in my arms. Don't you think you want someone to talk to?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up.
If you really want to support our troops, just contact the USO.
You can't believe how much they do for us.
To find out how you can help, visit us at USO.org. The USO, until everyone comes home.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
Boston band Aerosmith released their debut album. It fares poorly. It would be re-released in 76 and yield a top 10 hit, Dream On.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, right on down.
Elvis Presley's live TV special, Aloha from Hawaii, is watched by more than 1 billion people worldwide and introduces the world to the rhinestone white jumpsuit. In February of 73, Alice Cooper has a number 1 album with Billion Dollar Babies, along with 3 top 40 singles. Elton John also has a number 1 album and his first number 1 single with Crocodile Rock. Paul McCartney and Wings have a number 1 single with My Love, and the Stooges signed to Columbia Records and released their final album, Raw Power, produced by David Bowie. In March, Pink Floyd releases the now legendary Dark Side of the Moon. It goes to number 1 and becomes one of the best-selling albums of all time.
And everything under the sun is you, and the sun is a great spot on you.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up.
Message marked urgent.
We're here for you now on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line.
Hey, I'm just trying to find some answers here.
At 1-877-794-1973.
Alzheimer's disease is the sixth leading cause of death in the country, and it's affecting almost 7 million Americans, including 110,000 people here in Wisconsin. UW-Madison is working hard to improve the lives of those affected, offering resources to educate and the latest in research and technology. The UW initiative to end Alzheimer's has so many ways you can benefit, learn, get involved, and make a difference. Visit goalsforacure.org. That's goalsforacure.org.
On the latest Tales from 1265, we dive into how the first Hall of Fame for an individual team came to fruition and the most unique story in all of sports.
They go further in the red, but then community leaders decided to have that first stock sale.
I'm Doug Russell. Join me for Tales from 1265 on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolet Law, Wisconsin's winning team of lawyers that will get you back in the game.
You may not play for your favorite team, but you act like it. Whether you're at work or outside on the grill, you carry them with you. No, not with a jersey, but a mindset as you crack open that ice-cold beer. Cheesehead TV and Gathering Place Brewing bring you Carry the G, a delicious and easy drinking cream ale. But it's not just for tailgating, it's for everyday life.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so bring me a cold from the land of the green and gold.
Available throughout Wisconsin. 21 plus. Drink responsibly.
This is No BS with Billy and Armen on Wisconsin's home for the best sports talk and other stuff. The Game.
No BS on the Game. Hour 3 starts up and leads off with our favorite conversation of the week. We get it twice, and that's twice as nice. Not nearly as nice after the Packers catch an L to the Carolina Panthers yesterday, 16-13. But this man brought you the sights and sounds of it. It's Wayne Larrabee, the voice of the Green Bay Packers. Our conversation with Wayne Larrabee brought to you by Potawatomi Sportsbook, bet above the rest, discount liquor, family owned and operated in Waukesha, in downtown Waukesha and Milwaukee since 1960, and Wisconsin Concrete Coatings. Wayne Larrabee, yesterday there's recipes for success, recipes for disaster, there's recipes for upsets. And that one was perfectly followed by the Packers and Panthers yesterday, because everything the Packers needed to do to help the Panthers win the game yesterday, it felt like they did for 60 minutes at Lambeau.
Yeah, it was one of those games, low possession games. Each side had the ball 7 times apiece. Usually it's 9 or 10 possessions in a game like that. But Carolina came in short in the game. They played very soft in the secondary. The Packers hit a couple of big plays, but you could count them on one hand in the passing game. And, the running of the football, though, I thought that was really the underlying problem. And 163 yards rushing against Jeff Hafley's defense, boy, I didn't think that could happen, but it did.
And that was what controlled the pace. And you talked about the uneven nature of it, the low possessions. The Packers didn't have their third offensive possession until a couple minutes left to go in the half.
Yeah,
and that is what really got things kind of herky-jerky. It felt like a game, Wayne, with no flow to it at all.
Yeah, no, it was Armen, it was kind of hard to watch. Larry and I were kind of remarking that it just didn't, like you said, have any flow until very late in the game when the Packers kind of got things going on that touchdown drive. But for the most part, and I think the frustrating aspect of it was, the pass plays downfield. Everything was short, everything in the Packers offense all season. And I think Matt LaFleur brought this up the other day. They hit some big plays. They're among the league leaders in explosive plays, both through the air and on the ground going into this week's action. And yet that soft zone that Carolina played. And by the way, we knew Carolina would be in zone. They play zone 85% of the time. That's the highest zone rate in the league. And they did it yesterday. And they played very soft. They forced you to complete passes underneath or don't complete them at all. And That's kind of where they were at. And that's what made the Packers offense look so spotty. You know what I mean? They'd hit a big play and then they, it kind of sputter around and weren't able to get things done. But Carolina, I thought, won the war in the trenches. And I said this on the air. I don't know if Larry agreed with me or not, but their offensive line, which, by the way, was patchwork, okay? As that game ensued, they were missing 4 of their 5 starters. They started missing 3 of 5. They were missing 4 of 5 by the second half of that game, and yet they ran the football for 163 yards. Wow.
Yeah, in Wayne, they dominated the line of scrimmage. You're spot on. It was tough to watch at times, and then their best players played and had big moments, right? And like we talked about it, especially on defense, you guys spotlighted it right away when you started the broadcast at 10 o'clock. The first look, right? First off, it needs to be sponsored. There's money making opportunity there because you guys all that's a phenomenal 15 minutes to be able to set the scene as to what's happening. And you guys were spot on. J.C. Horn, one of the better underlooked valued players in the game. He has a massive play with the forced fumble on the first drive. They go in and score a touchdown. You can't tell me they score 13 points in the game. I think it definitely first plants some seeds of doubt onto the other sideline, which had life all game long. And then Derek Brown forces 2 holding penalties in like 4 plays. Their best players, especially on defense, really stood out. And when the Packers, to your point, when teams are going to start playing this 2 shell and really forcing them to be okay with the mundane, gaining 4 yards, gaining 5 yards, force them to take those checkdowns. I'm interested to see when the Packers are okay with that win, because I know they want to push the ball down the field, but you got to be okay just taking what's there. And that patience is going to get put to the test.
Yeah, it really will, because, I mean, you're looking at kind of the formula. That's what teams that have beaten the Packers or stayed with the Packers have been able to do, and that is play soft, play zone, keep everything in front, don't allow the big play to beat them, and the Packers kind of thrive on the big play.
Wayne, it really felt like, and I don't know what your thought was, that there was a couple momentum-changing moments in the game. Early on, the Savion Williams fumble. The Packers were rolling on their first offensive drive, had just stopped them, and the fumble kind of right away changed momentum, it felt like. And then when Tucker went down, the Packers had just gotten a first down, I believe. There was some offensive momentum building, and it really felt like that Tucker Kraft injury put a pall over everything and changed momentum.
Boy, Armen, and you could see it really live on the field. I don't know what TV showed you, but you could just see it and feel it when Tucker went down and how that team reacted. The Packers, I'm saying, on the sideline, on the field, that's a huge loss. It's a huge loss from the standpoint that he's become one of the stars in the league, okay? Yeah. But from the secondary standpoint, he's one of their leaders. He's kind of a heart and soul guy on that football team, and that's the part. That's the part that will be hardest to replace going forward. And they knew it, and everybody knew it. And boy, even if the Packers had won that game, everybody would have had a pit in their stomach because of that injury.
Yeah, and Wayne, to see a guy that says one of the, you mentioned emotional leaders, he's got the captain C on his chest for a reason. We heard Josh Jacobs a little while ago, and the passion that he spoke with, the disappointment for somebody that means so much to the team to be out, but also in the pass game and in the run game, for a team that is struggling to find footing in the run game, it's clear and obvious that they're not going to have one of their biggest third down threats to throw to, but I think they're going to feel his loss as much in the run game, which is still sputtering at this moment.
No question about it. He's an excellent, complete tight end. Now, Luke Musgrave can take up the slack through the air. I mean, as a receiver, he can get open in the seam, that kind of thing, and I expect that he will, and I think he's ready to blossom. But is he the blocker that Tucker Kraft is? In all honesty, no. Can he be a good blocker? I think so. But is he the accomplished blocker that Tucker Kraft is? And that answer is no, not now.
Yeah, definitely, Wayne. It's a tough loss. We don't have any official word yet, but it obviously doesn't look good. Wayne, have you ever seen a game where a team achieved so little offensively but didn't punt the entire game? That was the Packers yesterday. It was just an unbelievable circumstance.
I didn't even realize that, but you're exactly right. They never had a punt.
Never punted.
Wow. Low possession games, weird game like that. Yeah, but that's strange. And here's the other thing. I was talking to somebody this morning about this. Okay, let's say, and Billy, I believe this wholeheartedly. You can look at a baseball box score and pretty much know what happened. Ohtani hit 3 home runs through 6 1/3 scoreless innings. You know what happened, and the Dodgers won. All right. In football, look at the box score today. Let me go through the numbers for you, okay? Give me a second on this. Okay, the Packers had 369 yards of offense to 265 for Carolina. Green Bay was 7 of 13, 53.8%. Very good on third downs. Carolina was 4 of 10, 40%. If you look at some other factors, Packers controlled the football 30 minutes, 10 seconds to 29-50 Carolina. What do you think would happen in a game like that? I would think the Packers would have won, right?
Yes.
I mean,
100%.
that's why you've got to see a football game. Carolina led this game throughout. I mean, did the Packers ever have a lead? No, I don't think they did, right?
I think they maybe had a 3-0. That was
3-0.
it.
Okay. Yeah, but that was early on. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, just football is strange in that regard. You've got to see the game to understand what happened and how it played out.
And 1 of 5 in the red zone is just
1 of 5.
That's just a stunning number. It's one of the worst that they've had in 3 years. And they flashed a stat about it earlier today that it's the fewest points scored by a team that hadn't punted by the Packers since 1967.
Isn't that amazing?
It's crazy. They wore the throwback jersey in a 1923 football game, broke out. But Wayne, you also have to be able to capitalize when you're there. We talk about touchdowns, but being able to kick field goals, stunning that's a problem now. Special teams, we talk about seemingly week in and week out. I think the more just dumbfounding deal is you get an offsides on the punt or on the kickoff. You had the procedural penalty kicking off. I still haven't seen that happen. We did finally this weekend, but that just continues to be surprising. And Havrasek instead of McManus over Havrasek, it's a really interesting development that they have on their hands, and I don't know where they go. They clearly are concerned because they haven't cut Havrasek, but he hasn't been active for the last 2 games. It's a strange one.
It's interesting, and again, from a health standpoint, I would imagine McManus is healthy. Otherwise, they would have certainly activated Havrasek, and so I don't think that's the problem. I know it was a windy day at Lambeau Field yesterday, and I think all the field goals went to the south end zone uprights, if I'm not mistaken. I know that the 3 the Packers or the 2 the Packers made were to the south end zone. But at any rate, I know the north side of the field was gusty and the wind was changing directions. John Kuhn was documenting that. So I don't know how much of an impact that all had. And I do know this, Dave Canellis told the coach of Carolina told John at halftime that interception by McKinney, the pass that was off the mark in the end zone, that McKinney was able to retrieve and intercept, that he felt wind impacted that throw from Bryce Young. So the north end zone was a problem. And in the fourth quarter, you notice Carolina took the wind for the fourth quarter. And the Packers in the fourth quarter were going into the wind on that north side of the field. So a lot of little things that go on, Billy. But I think the thing you pointed out, the 1 for 5 in the red zone, the 7 penalties. And it's not just the number of penalties, but when they occur and what do they take off the board? Do they take a 21-yard running play off the board, that kind of thing. Those things are plaguing the Packers. They had 2 turnovers to 1 for Carolina. Those are just the little things that enter into the picture and make for a tough afternoon.
Yeah, and Bryce Young and timeliness, things like that. It made me think a little bit about his day. He didn't complete a whole lot of balls. It wasn't like he was dominant throwing the ball, but it felt like the ones he completed were always in big moments. And I was surprised, Wayne, I don't know how you felt, that the Packers weren't more successful getting pressure on him and getting to the quarterback. I thought that was going to be a situation that was prime for some of our great pass rushers, obviously, Micah and Rashawn. Not heard from much. I was surprised they didn't get Bryce feeling more uncomfortable throughout the day.
I was shocked, especially given the state of the offensive line at Carolina. I was shocked. You guys know I have this stat called defensive activity, and this is a stat where sacks, tackles for loss, quarterback hits, interceptions, pass deflections, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries. Okay, those are the categories of defensive activity. Carolina had 17 in that category. Green Bay had 7. That's a huge difference in terms of defensive activity. And, the Packers had 2 quarterback hits. Wow, 2 quarterback hits in the whole game. 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack for no yards lost, 1 pass deflection, and a forced fumble.
It's
and an
crazy.
interception, obviously.
Yeah, in the forced fumble and the sack, the Panthers gained yards. It's just like you can't make that kind of stuff up.
No, that fumble was weird, wasn't it? Oh my gosh! Wow, aren't they happy they fumbled that thing because they got an extra 6-7 yards out of that?
It's crazy. It was just one of those games where I joked about it. The ball was bouncing away from you. You also felt like at certain times you either kicked it or threw it away from the direction. Just found ways to continually make it harder on yourselves. But we talked about it on Friday, and the trap game thought is the narrative, the cliche part. Sure, the word might not matter, but we see it year in and year out. Teams struggle, and it is tough in the National Football League to be at your best for 17 weeks. That's why there hasn't been a team to go 17-0 in the NFL. But after how emotional Pittsburgh was and how much everyone's looking forward to Philadelphia, this wasn't super surprising to see the lack of juice, was it?
I would love to argue with you on that, but I really can't. The emotion, the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, they get even the best of teams. But the key is really the really good, mature teams find a way to play over that. And, you know, you're exactly right, Billy. The emotion, that Pittsburgh game, okay, the players and the coaching staff, especially going into that game, tried to downplay it as best they could. That game meant a lot to that football team. And I saw it in the locker room after the game. Those guys were hanging around in Pittsburgh, and they were savoring the moment. And it was a big deal because it was a time for them to prove that their guy, Jordan Love, not only was surpassing Aaron Rodgers at this stage, a better player, but they were intent that he would be able to beat Aaron Rodgers in a matchup, maybe the only matchup they'll ever have against one another. But so you go from that emotion, and the following week you've got a Carolina team coming in that got hammered 40-9 by Buffalo in Carolina. And nobody knows what they are, including the Panthers. People kept saying, we don't know what we are. One week we're one thing, next week we're another thing. And so you have that, and then you have the persona of Philadelphia coming to town for a Monday night game the following week. It's human nature, boys and girls. The football guys poo-poo this stuff. They don't think, it's all about X's and O's and Jimmys and Joes. Yeah, Jimmys and Joes are flesh and blood, okay? We know one thing about flesh and blood above all things. Flesh and blood, the only consistency with flesh and blood, be it the racehorses that competed in the championship at Del Mar on Saturday or the football players that played in Green Bay on Sunday, the only thing consistent with flesh and blood is its inconsistency. And in football, emotion, Billy, as you know better than Armen and I, plays a huge role in how you play on a given Sunday or Saturday or Friday night or whenever you're playing, okay? And the high of Pittsburgh to Carolina, Philadelphia coming up in the future, that's what we talk about when we say trap games. Did the Packers intend to play that way? No. Did they intend to play above all those factors? Of course they did. The effort was there. But that edge that it takes on this level, and it's only you lose a little bit of your edge, folks, on the pro level, and you get beat. Okay, it's very simple. You get beat, and it's a fine line between winning and losing, between the good teams and the bad teams. Fine line. None of us who haven't played in the NFL understand how difficult it is to win or how fine that line is on a given Sunday between winning and losing.
Well, and Wayne, so many of these young players, and that could not be said any better. And we've talked about it, that it is still a young team. I know that they're an experienced football team, but it is young. And I think to 2023, when they didn't bring the same juice to go get DeVito'd against the New York Football Giants, somewhat it's almost human nature that you see it. But we talk about winning and losing and learning how to win year in and year out. This team is different than 2023. It might have a lot of the same actors in it, but it's a different one, and that's a lesson that they learned yesterday, and you hope that you're able to learn it because you can't have another misstep like that going forward, and you have so many division games coming up as well. Like, it's understandable that this wouldn't get overlooked. It's not an excuse, an explanation, but dang, it happens often. And with the Philadelphia game coming up, I'd love to know what your thought is, because you talk about the emotion. I just thought it reminded me so much of that 2023 Monday night game when they went to play the Giants and Tommy DeVito ultimately nipped them and they lose 28-22 or whatever it was.
Yeah, Billy, I agree. I think in my impression is this, and I thought they were maturing and coming along, and I still think they did mature and come along in the last 3 weeks, but hit another speed bump here. And they're still a young team trying to figure out how to win on a consistent basis, deliver week in, week out. And it's very difficult to do that. They're learning it as we go along. And then the Tucker Kraft injury, that changes a lot offensively. We'll see where they go from here. But nonetheless, this is the process that they're going through right now. I understand this is a young team. I understand it's an experienced young team, but it's still a young team. And they're still trying to figure out how this particular version of the Packers, the 2025 version of the Packers, how are we going to win on a weekly basis, on a consistent basis, and how are we going to be playing our best football come January? Because all we have to do now is get to the playoffs. Once you get in the playoffs, you have to be playing your best football. I'll go back to last year, okay? Last year, the Packers were playing their best football in late November through early December. And by the end of December, they weren't playing very well. And they were one and done in the playoffs. And we saw it. And it's really hard to get a team to that crest of play at the right time. It's really hard to do that. And what you hope is you win enough games. Let's get into the playoffs. If we win enough games, maybe we get a good seed. Maybe we get the number 1 seed. But you damn well better, whether you have a 1st seed or a 7th seed, you better be playing your best football in January or you're not playing for long.
Yeah, it couldn't be better said, Wayne. And in an era where the NFC North has been really good, there's already 19 wins in this division. It's going to be very, very difficult to win it. And that's the first step, obviously. But trying to find a wild card, something like that, it's going to be very tough to make the playoffs. So couldn't be said any better. Really quick, I have to ask you a laundry question about the aesthetics of athletics. I always do this. What did you think about the throwback uniforms? And unfortunately, we're going to remember them in a loss.
Those things are buried.
Yeah.
You're never seeing them things again.
No TV numbers, but they didn't have TV in 1923, Wayne, so we had to give them a break there.
They barely had numbers in 1923. No, I thought they were really cool. We really loved the helmets. Yeah. They looked great. And they were painted on. That stuff was painted on, but it looked real, didn't it? I saw them in practice the other day wearing those helmets, and I thought, this is really cool. I thought it was a great look. I really did. The numbers were a little hard to read when it was overcast, and the lighting wasn't very good. But no, I thought they were a good look. But at home, I'm still going to be partial to wearing the green and gold at home. Yeah. And the throwbacks I don't mind on the road, but hey, I thought it was a good look, a really cool look. Billy, I'm sure you appreciated those helmets.
Oh, I loved them, and I think it's going to be awesome putting them right into the Packers Hall of Fame, because I'm just telling you, you're never seeing them things again. You lose the game at 13.5-point favorites, and them things, we're burying those things under the new parking garage potentially. Wayne, always appreciate it, man. It was a phenomenal call, even though you were given chicken. You made chicken salad, and it was phenomenal. It was a great broadcast yesterday. We look forward to another banger, and we'll talk to you on Friday.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you Friday.
Thanks, Wayne.
Man. There he is, Wayne Larrabee, hanging out with us here, courtesy of Potawatomi Sportsbook, bet above the rest, discount liquor, family owned and operated in Milwaukee and downtown Waukesha since 1960, and Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, built in Wisconsin, built to last.
Wayne's approaching his 50th year. Yeah, I said that right. 50th year calling play-by-play in the NFL. Incredible talent, as we know. But what makes Wayne great anyway, besides the play-by-play talent, the way he put that about, the human nature, the difficulty of winning in the NFL, that was probably that 90 seconds, you couldn't put that better, right,
That was
Billy?
the best promo cut on this radio. Just incredible.
Incredible stuff
Phenomenal.
from him. Incredible insight from Wayne. And boy, if I'm not appreciative of having him here to talk to us about that, that was fantastic stuff.
That clip's going to be spot on.
Yeah.
Man, can't thank him enough for hanging out with us here. And he really did. Like that broadcast yesterday, and listen, it sounded perfect. Great work by you.
Yeah.
Great work by you. But it's one of those games where I think they do such a good job of encapsulating the frustration that you're all feeling watching it. Like that was a lot of yesterday from Larry.
Yeah.
And they were rightfully so. And then there's also the moments in which you're like, fellas, it's about time we start picking this up. We're very, very close. We played with our food long enough, but it's still right in front of you. Finish off the game, and you can learn the lesson in a win. They were unable to do so yesterday. 16-13 L for today. However, still in first place. We'll look around the rest of the NFL because there were some interesting results, to say the very least, across the National Football League. It's no BS on the game.
This town, this night, this crowd, come on, put them up, let me hear it loud. This town, this city, this crowd, stand up on your feet, put your worries down.
The Packers fall to the Panthers at Lambeau.
Love under center takes. Back to throw. Sets up left. Rainbows. Deep down the middle for Watson. Intercepted by Merrick. 28-yard line. Gets up east of the 30. 35, 40. Left sideline to the 50. To the 45 and out of bounds to the 40-yard line to the near side.
We're talking about it all day on the game. Miss an hour of no BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app.
I'm Hunter Baumgart with a programming update. Where can you find the games you want to listen to and when? We've got the answers. Tonight, you can hear Monday Night Football, courtesy of Westwood One, on our sister station, Fox Sports 920 WOKY in Milwaukee and 1070 The Game in Madison. The 3-4-1 Dallas Cowboys host the 2-5 Arizona Cardinals. 6 o'clock pregame, 7:15 kickoff this evening. I'm Hunter Baumgart for the Game Radio Network.
Message marked urgent.
We're here for you now on the NicoleLaw.com talk and text line.
Hey, I'm just trying to find some answers here.
At 1-877-794-1973.
I'm Jason Flom, founding board member of the Innocence Project, and my new podcast is Wrongful Conviction, available on iHeartRadio. On Wrongful Conviction, I interview a different exoneree every week and help them to tell their incredible stories of tragedy and triumph against impossible odds. You've got to hear it to believe it. Wrongful Conviction from iHeart Studios, available now on iHeartRadio.
Alzheimer's disease is the sixth leading cause of death in the country, and it's affecting almost 7 million Americans, including 110,000 people here in Wisconsin. UW-Madison is working hard to improve the lives of those affected, offering resources to educate and the latest in research and technology. The UW initiative to end Alzheimer's has so many ways you can benefit, learn, get involved, and make a difference. Visit goalsforacure.org. That's goalsforacure.org.
For a variety of tips, including a mortgage reality check to help homeowners safeguard their properties during the current mortgage crisis and in the future, visit housinghelpnow.org. That's housinghelpnow.org, a public service from the NFCC.
On a quick snap, second down. Favre with daylight and time goes for the whole thing. Touchdown! Green Bay leads. Brett Favre, 40 yards, and Sterling Sharp's third touchdown of the game.
You may not play for your favorite team, but you act like it. Whether you're at work or outside on the grill, you carry them with you. No, not with a jersey, but a mindset as you crack open that ice-cold beer. Cheesehead TV and Gathering Place Brewing bring you Carry the G, a delicious and easy drinking cream ale. But it's not just for tailgating, it's for everyday life.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so bring me a cold from the land of the green and gold.
Available throughout Wisconsin, 21 plus, drink responsibly.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Neil Sean to ask about Journey's music being featured in the final episode of The Sopranos.
I did follow The Sopranos, and I watched it when I wasn't working. And I remember getting an email months prior to the last episode. And it was, I believe it was from the director. And he was, basically saying, hey, we're talking about using Don't Stop Believing in the final episode of Sopranos. And I went, oh, cool. That's cool. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, it's cool too. And I wasn't glued to the TV. I was actually on the internet, and my phone just started blowing up. People were like, dude, did you see that? And I was like, what? And it was just like I got so many calls one after another. Got to see the episode, the next day, and I was like, wow, this is just amazing.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Neil Sean and all your favorite artists.
Pour a snow-cool glass of refreshingly different Busch Bavarian.
Busch Bavarian beer, like Bavaria, sunny and bright. It's friendly as a village fair. Busch Bavarian beer.
Martin down on one knee, arm extended. Snap, placement. The kick is up, and it is good. Oh. And the Panthers have won.
For the love of Pete! What's going on out there?
You'll never forget your discovery of Blatz either. For Blatz is Milwaukee's finest beer.
Blatz is Milwaukee's finest beer. Tonight we'll just get drunk, disturb the peace. Bind your hands all over me, and then you bite your lip, whisper and say, we're going all the way.
No BS on the game. Billy and Sarian with you, as Armen very accurately put it, at Armen Sarian, where you should be following and getting notifications whenever Armen Sarian tweets. Because if you're not, what are you doing?
Yeah, get the notifications, get the alerts. What are you doing?
Just said, wallowing in the weirdness of yesterday. Weird game for the Green Bay Packers. Comes out with a bad result. 16-13 Panthers win. Packers almost have 370 yards of total offense. Get to the red zone 5 times. Score 1 touchdown. It's in the fourth quarter. And not surprising, it's Josh Jacobs. He runs for 5 a tote. However, not even a 100-yard game, and we're still waiting for Josh Jacobs to eclipse the century mark.
That part's weird. Thought he'd be doing that by now, obviously, after the year he had last year. But in terms of efficiency, it was sort of there yesterday, which was one of many things that made it so weird. And yes, that's kind of where the wallowing and the complexity thing.
Yeah.
Because, I had a professor once said, what are you doing when you're doing a show? It's a long form. So you're swimming in a pool of complex things. You're wallowing in it for a while.
Okay,
So that's kind of
that.
It was a weird deal, but he was sounding smart. So I was really locked in on that lecture. But anyway, that's one of the many weird things about the game yesterday is that in a year we've been kind of waiting for Jacobs in the running game to get off a little bit. He did that yesterday with 5 yards a tote.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel that way for some reason. It didn't feel success. It didn't feel like it should feel when you're getting 5 yards of carry from your bell cow back.
Yes.
In terms of, productive, moving the chains, which they kind of did for a while. Especially effective in the red zone, which is usually where he's great and where a running game is great. But most importantly, Billy, it never felt like we were able to impose our will in the defense and control the game. It felt like the Panthers were doing that to us because of a man named Rico Dowdle.
And
that's what it felt like we were doing.
Dowdle was slicing and dicing. 25 carries yesterday for 130 yards and 2 tugs. And he did everything he wanted. And everything Carolina could have possibly asked for. And listen, that was also a team that last week during the week said, all right, Rico Dowdle is our starting running back. So emergence and taking over that mantle, good for him. He took over and did it against the Packers. It's a frustrating result. However, not the only maybe surprising one in the NFL. We've touched on it a couple of different times here today. But J.J. McCarthy throws for 2 tugs, runs for another. The Vikings upset the Lions, so the Packers stay in first place by a half game. Now they're up a half game on the Lions, as well as the Chicago Bears, who almost have an epic collapse in Cincinnati and then get saved by their rookie tight end, Colston Loveland, on his first National Football League touchdown.
Yeah, by me jinxing it to you.
Where he catches a ball that's maybe, 15 yards down the field.
Yeah.
Going to be just near Cairo Santos field goal range to kick a game-winning field goal after they collapsed and gave up a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. However, my man, I think it's Jordan Battle, just bounces straight off of Loveland's chest.
Straight bumper boats.
And he is free and clear to the end zone, and they score with 17 seconds left and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, even though they tried to feed it over there. The Bears ran a Philly special and put up almost 50. This is weird how legit they are in one of the strangest and wildest games that you're watching in the entire NFL.
Weird, uncomfortable, makes me unhappy, Billy. After yesterday, it's 3:00. We just have met the reality of losing to the Panthers. we're starting Packers playback and about to start Packers OT. And I'm thinking, like, at least the Bears are blowing this right now. This is, like, going to make me feel a little bit better. And they go out and they snatch, like you said, victory from the jaws of defeat, in which they almost just gave defeat from the jaws of victory.
Crazy.
Very weird, very crazy. Makes me unhappy. And now dealing with the reality, talking about the division here, that the whole narrative around Caleb Williams might be transforming itself before our very eyes. It was Jaden Daniels last year, obviously, and everyone was clowning the Bears. We were clowning the Bears. Jaden Daniels has had his struggles and injuries, unfortunately. And it's Caleb Williams that's kind of turned it around, at least in the short term, especially after all that bad press came out after the 0-2 and things like that. So he's the guy that's always had talent. Could he put it together is the question. And right now he's got a lot of weapons around him as well. And they're starting to do things there in Chicago. So I'm not happy about that, Billy, as you know. I was looking forward to clowning them and or the Vikings all year. Right now, both teams have had good moments yesterday. And it puts us in this precarious position where you got to win games now every week if you want to stay afloat in just the division. I don't know we have division games coming up, so people have to lose. But it is really crazy right now when you start looking at the NFC North and the competition here in this division.
Couldn't agree with you more. And to see the Bears winning games in the fourth quarter, something that you don't like to see. That was their calling card a year ago. If the game's close in the fourth quarter, the Bears will lose it. As of late, if it's close in the final minutes, they've won it. And that I don't like seeing at all. Philly Todd on the talking text line. He was at the game yesterday. Todd was hitting us up during Packers OT.
What up, Todd?
Went to the game, dropped some cash, and I hate that that's the experience yesterday.
I know.
I loved, though, we had another person from our friend from North Dakota.
From Bismarck,
call us on Packers OT. Like, my dad and I have been looking forward to this for months. First game, and dud. That is a tough one. However, don't let the L ruin the memory, because it should still be a fun one and a good one. But Todd brings up a very, very fair question, because he's very, very right on it. Why didn't the Packers take a field goal in the fourth quarter? They ran a fourth down play that turned into a scramble, almost pick six that was dropped. I said they should have taken the points before they even ran the play. And how much longer can the Packers not show up prepared and everyone still says it's fine? Well, I mean, they showed up pretty well and prepared a week ago. Right? Like, I mean, that's the problem for me in a lot of these moments where it's, well, they never do. Except in the 5 wins they have this year where they scored 27 points in all of them.
Right.
Right? So, I mean, like, yes, they lose a game that they should have won. And very much frustrating and have all the rights to be frustrated. But to say they never do, well, that would just be flat out wrong. Because they've gone to the playoffs 6 of the last 7 years and have had a winning record in all these years.
Yeah, they win. Yeah.
They win. Now, do they do it the way that we want? No. Yesterday, there's a lot more issues than they weren't necessarily ready to play. They just didn't finish any plays.
I thought they started well, actually. Until
the
fumble.
script rolled them down all the way inside the red zone, and then they fumbled.
The first drive was clockwork. Jordan wasn't missing anybody.
The ball in their first 3 drives, 50-plus yards.
Davion just fumbled, and that changed it. Now, the problem you could say is that after that fumble, you shouldn't turtle up maybe the way they did, but they started well. You don't prepare to fumble on the first drive. That's the problem.
And the question, though, of why they didn't take the field goal in the fourth quarter, I'm right there with you, especially after Love takes the timeout.
Yes.
They call the screen. It kind of appears you're running that play knowing you're going to go for it on fourth down. And remember, that is also the side of the field where the wind was a massive factor in the north end zone. So I do think that played into it. LaFleur said it didn't after the game. I would disagree, but he made the decision.
Or what McManus had been doing all game.
Right. I would guess that had something to do with it. But I would also take the points. I thought they were going to, especially after they take the timeout. But they had planned to run it. They had planned to go for it. So that's maybe it's one that you would love to have back. He said it after the game, but it definitely bites you in a 1-score game. But it also kind of goes against the normally conservative approach that people get very upset about.
Yes, although I never know if they're really conservative or not sometimes with their decision making. That's always like somebody has that
lack
opinion.
of an identity that's very interesting.
And it's also a little confirmation bias. However, listen, and Matt LaFleur's been accused many times of making emotional decisions on the sideline. A lot of times with challenges. That felt like one of those, absolutely. I mean, where you're sitting there saying, you might be frustrated about what happened on 3rd and 3. You might be upset about the fact that you're down 7. You might be really greedy to get a touchdown here. But in this situation, and with the ability of a timeout, which you shouldn't have taken there. I'm sorry. With the luxury of being able to think about it and being able to cool down a bit, discretion has to be the better part of valor there. And to say, even though I'm frustrated, even though I hate the way this feels, even though this does not make me happy, I have to swallow it now, stomach the fact that I'm taking the field goal because it's the right thing to do. You needed 3 points there because then you give a chance to take the lead on the next drive at the touchdown. And that was what was frustrating about that. I think everyone felt like this feels good to nobody here to not finish this drive at the touchdown. But taking the field goal is the right move here because 4th and 8 is an absolutely difficult position to convert in that part of the field. And unfortunately, Jordan Love had to throw up the prayer and didn't have a chance. So that surprised me. I think everyone's like, take the points here. Now, whether or not you don't believe taking the points is an option or at least a given because of what McManus has been doing.
That was interesting.
That's a different part of it. And I don't know if you can convince me that that's not in the back of the mind a little bit for Matt when he's making this decision. Because otherwise it seemed like a very, very odd decision to make.
And also on the 4th down, once Jordan is scrambling, we got to work back. Like I know
somebody work back.
Greg Olsen did a great job of saying, he's like, what are we doing here? Circling a bunch of no one working back to the football, working back to the quarterback. Like you have to be making yourself available in that moment. That was a miss. Todd, as well as Ryan and Madison said, showed up prepared last week. I guess we watched different first halves. I watched a first half where they scored a touchdown on 6 plays and then were in position to make 2 field goals and missed them.
Right.
So, I mean,
the offense worked.
They moved the ball down the field and they were, so we just don't compute any of the second half into being prepared to play. Only what happens during the first half is, are you prepared to play? That's then the second half adjustments that then we say don't happen. So I just I'm confused on that side of it. They were prepared. They missed 2 kicks and got into scoring position a week ago. So again, I just think we nitpick way too much on, well, it doesn't work. Why is that the play call? Well, again, we like a lot of the bubble screen when it's one-on-one and our best perimeter blocker needing to make 1 block and it's a free gap. The bubble screen of the first half or the first drive is going to work if we don't run right into the back of the blocker.
Yes.
We can pick a right or a left.
Yes.
Lack of execution. I don't know that that's on the coach. At some point, the player's got to make the plays.
And it's fair to say you have to give credit to Carolina because they designed their defense and the Packers had to do exactly what they designed their defense for. Unfortunately, couldn't stay consistent. And you brought it up earlier. It's the patience. It's the patience to not make a mistake. It's the patience to take what's given to you. And that's exactly why teams play defense like this now. They want to force teams to have to nickel and dime it down the field and have to be precision correct every time and not lose their patience and not lose themselves into trying for something bigger. And that's why explosive plays, Billy, are as much at a premium now as they'll ever be in the NFL because they're so important and they're so hard to get. And that's why teams are defending the way they are, which makes the Tucker Kraft injury doubly painful because he would create a lot of those on Yak. So a lot of those things to dissect here that are not good on a Monday.
No doubt about it. 877-794-1973. A lot more of the conversation with you at 877-794-1973. Had our texter ask us, please talk more about Parsons going MIA. What gives? Micah Parsons will answer that question for you on the other side. It's No BS on the Game.
Where the days are longer, the nights are stronger than moonshine. 97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
Not a great way to start the month.
Martin down on one knee, arm extended. Snap, placement. The kick is up, and it is good. Oh. And the Panthers have won.
A frustrating day all the way around for the Packers as they lose to the Panthers 16-13 at Lambeau Field. Green Bay now 5-2-1 on the season, but making matters much, much worse. Tight end Tucker Kraft is likely lost for the season with what the team reportedly believes is a torn right ACL. It was suffered in the third quarter of Sunday's loss, adding insult to injury. Today is Kraft's 25th birthday. Green Bay gets defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia 1 week from tonight. Wisconsin volleyball, a 3-set sweep winner at Ohio State. Men's basketball opening night tonight as they host Campbell, and the Bucks are at Indiana tonight. Tip-off is at 6. I'm Doug Russell on the Game Radio Network.
Green Bay loses a tough one at Lambeau to Carolina.
100% starts with me. Give credit to Carolina. They played the game that they had to play in order to beat us in regards to trying to run the football consistently throughout the course of the game and just make us dink and dunk the ball down the field, which we were able to move the ball, and then played good defense in the red zone. We had the 2 turnovers, missed a field goal.
We're reacting all day on the game. Want to watch No BS?
We'll do anything it takes.
They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
We have a place for it.
Just search 97.3 The Game. Drew and KB are talking sports and stuff every weekday from 2 to 6.
Christian Watson's return to the field for the Green Bay Packers, obviously a huge story, and it's a huge story here in Drew and KB land because it means that we get to say hi to Christian's mom, Krista Lynn, our returning champion. What was it like for Wisconsin's favorite sports mom to watch her son return to the field after 9 months of grueling rehab and isolation and self-doubts, and to see him just frolic on the field like he was never hurt?
I'm going to be really honest. For the first time in my mom career, I was very nervous and anxious, and I'm not really that kind of a person often, but there was just so much leading up to this. And I mean, even after I talked to him on the phone yesterday, I called him before they were leaving the hotel and to head over to the stadium. And I was like, how are you going to get through knocking the cobwebs off? I mean, that's really what it is. There's literally nothing like an actual game or a game time situation that you can simulate. You know what I mean? With the other guys coming at you at full speed, they want to hurt you. They want to take you out. How are you going to get through that? And he was like, just being really honest, Mom, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to do me.
I mean, that's fantastic. It doesn't matter. You would have that same conversation with him if he was in Pop Warner football and as a professional. That's just mom stuff, and that's great.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search Drew and KB on the iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Bryan Adams to discuss the difficulties of putting a record together, particularly the Reckless album.
If you knew what Reckless took to make, you wouldn't think that, it just sounds like we went in an afternoon and recorded a record, because I told over that record for 6 months, I mean, it was one of the hardest things I ever did. I was completely wiped out afterwards, because I fought every step of the way with everybody about it. And even though I had a good team, there was a lot of struggles. Mm-hmm. But I come to terms with the fact that if you want something bad enough, you got to fight for it, and so that's what I do now. I just I put together a good entourage of guys and go in there and just get in the scrum, man.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bryan Adams and all your favorite artists.
Alzheimer's disease is the 6th leading cause of death in the country, and it's affecting almost 7 million Americans, including 110,000 people here in Wisconsin. UW-Madison is working hard to improve the lives of those affected, offering resources to educate and the latest in research and technology. The UW Initiative to End Alzheimer's has so many ways you can benefit, learn, get involved, and make a difference. Visit goalsforacure.org. That's goalsforacure.org.
On the latest Tales from 1265, we dive into how the first Hall of Fame for an individual team came to fruition and the most unique story in all of sports.
They go further in the red, but then community leaders decided to have that first stock sale.
I'm Doug Russell. Join me for Tales from 1265 on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolay Law, Wisconsin's winning team of lawyers that will get you back in the game.
Message marked urgent.
We're here for you now on the NicolayLaw.com talk and text line.
Hey, I'm just trying to find some answers here.
At 1-877-794-1973.
Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played them all. I ain't seen nothing like him.
Welcome back. It's No BS on the Game. That's Armen Starr, and I'm Billy Schmid. Andrew Ludwig on the other side, hanging out with us, and all of you on the talking text line. Todd hit us back up and goes, "Thanks again, man. I'm not trying to be so negative. I do get tired of always hearing we need to clean things up and stop shooting ourselves in the foot. I think what's so frustrating is this team shows signs of greatness, and then they have absolutely terrible games."
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable.
That's spot on.
I think that's understandable, because if this team, now they're 5-1. If this team had the ability and talent they did and fulfilled it every game, we'd be happy. But the expectations are generally high when you have talent. Now, if this team didn't have that much talent and they were 2-6, we'd be like, yeah, well, they're 2-6.
Be a different story. Yep.
So I get it. I think the tough thing is to realize, and this is tough for everybody. This is tough for me. It's tough for a lot of fans, is that the results cannot be promised, guaranteed, or linear from game to game in this league. When so much we have grown up believing that in so many walks of life, especially in the game, because we play video games, that they should be. Like, you should be able to compute results based on what we see on paper or I don't know what else to describe it. Just facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have this talent, therefore this talent should win this and do this. I think we have to also acknowledge, and there's nothing wrong with this, we have to acknowledge and accept that we have very, very high standards and expectations as Packer fans.
Which is okay.
We do. It's okay. It's reality, but it's also true. I think sports fans in general have that now too, Billy, because sort of what we just heard from, I think it was Philly Todd and our guy in North Dakota last night. I spent so-and-so dollars to go to the game. We put so much into this because it was because things are expensive now. You put so much energy, saving, money sometimes into going to one game that you really put a lot into the experience being great.
Yeah.
And part of that is your team playing great and winning the game. And when that's not the case, you feel like, geez, I just wasted all my money on it. See, when things are more expensive now than they've ever been, we get to the ticket price point. I think that's part of it too. It's like when I'm investing so much into one moment and not just going to say maybe 5 games a year for $50 a pop, like a totally different experience. You put so much more emotional energy into it because you're looking forward to it. This is my one chance to have something great happen. And that's your one experience. And if that experience doesn't come through, it shapes the way you feel about it.
Yeah,
so I wonder if that's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it stinks. Like, and you're right. The level of expectation, I think, for all fan bases is heightened. And that's a good thing, right?
Yes.
Like, especially in the NFL, everybody anticipates that you can get better and should be able to win. And that's a good spot for it, to be able to get more of it, because you need more of that, right? Like, you need to be able to push for a different level. And I'm with you. I think that the pricing of things does make you feel a little bit more frustrated about it. But I also think, like, we had a texter say these guys are millionaires. They should be able to play and get up for every game. The amount of money you make doesn't dehumanize you.
That's
right?
the thing.
It doesn't change the way that you will inevitably perform on a given day.
Right.
And Wayne Larrivee cut one of the best promos of all time early around this hour when he said what flesh and blood shows, and the only thing that's consistent with it is that it's inconsistent and that you're unable to be just predictive. It's not, there's no robots playing right now. And so there's no way to just make sure that you're able to have the same level of play every single week. Is it acceptable? No. Do I expect a bunch of guys to get fired and cut? No. And if you expect that, well, then I'm sorry. I don't think it's going to be a very good Monday for you.
This is part of sports. Winning and losing is part of sports. You want your team to win a lot, but yeah, no matter how much somebody makes, no matter how much salary increases, the other team's got the same deal.
They got the same thing too.
So,
now, I do wonder if before tomorrow's deadline, if it impacts the way the Packers think, right? Maybe there's a possibility to make some kind of move. We've all thought corner. Maybe it's defensive lineman to be able to beef up in a run stuffer. There's a lot of possibilities. Micah Parsons yesterday was the big acquisition you possibly could have made all offseason. You make it just before the game or just before the season. He was phenomenal in the first couple of games. Kind of MIA yesterday, but after the game spoke up to reporters.
I might get to hold them to just 16 points. How frustrating a loss.
We take our blame on the loss, so I get the 16 points, but we didn't do a good enough job, like, overall, like, because we still had a chance to win the game, and we just didn't execute. So, I mean, I started looking at it, I can see where that could come into place, but we still ran over 100 yards. Like I said, we had a chance on defense to get started, and we just didn't do it.
Like when the offense ties it up and you get a chance to hold the ground there tied in the last 2 minutes and it goes the way it does, how disappointing is that?
It's super disappointing because it's all about execution. It's not that we can't do it, we just didn't do it. Like, we're capable. I think it's just like, regardless of who's up, who's down, injuries, we should get a stop in that moment. But overall, like, I'm more upset. Like, it got to that point. Like, I think we're a better football team than what we displayed today.
Micah Parsons just describing it and saying it right there. Listen, we Not that we can't do it. We just need to. We clearly can. We have the talent. We have all the guys in there. But to be able to be consistent is the biggest difference between good teams and great teams. You have to be able to be better consistently. And Micah was kind of schemed out of the game yesterday. We had you didn't see a whole lot of drop back situation. I think they were like full-fledged 5-step drop maybe twice, 2 or 3 times when he was in the game. And otherwise it was all quick game. And you're not really going to be able to get home at that point. Now, part of the Micah Parsons effect is the way Carolina knew they had to play. They had a beat-up offensive line. They had to run the ball. Their best offensive player was going to be Rico Dowdle, and their game plan was kind of unimpeded. And that's maybe the most disappointing part of the entire game. 877-794-1973. Like this one from the 715 from Todd in Wausau.
What up, Todd?
Todd said, love the no BS. Would be great to have a call-in segment with listeners calling in to share their observations of their extensive pregame film study of the opposition.
Hey, you joke about it, but now all 22 is available. Everyone's watching film.
Right?
But you know what?
We're going to open it up.
We got the call and let's call the whole show. 877-794-1973. It's open.
We'd love to hear from you.
Breakdowns, I'd love to see them too.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And listen, if you got us a film breakdown, we are going to put you on the radio, and you're going to have some fun, and we're going to listen to all of it. And we're going to break it down with you at 877-794-1973. So that's wide open, because I think Todd Wausau is onto something. We're definitely going to make that a fact going forward. And there's going to be a big film study. Big week coming up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Can't put this one to bed quite yet. Hour 4 is coming up next on the game.
You may not play for your favorite team, but you act like it. Whether you're at work or outside on the grill, you carry them with you. No, not with a jersey, but a mindset as you crack open that ice-cold beer. Cheesehead TV and Gathering Place Brewing bring you Carry the G, a delicious and easy drinking cream ale. But it's not just for tailgating, it's for everyday life.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so bring me a cold from the land of the green and gold.
Available throughout Wisconsin, 21 plus, drink responsibly.
The Packers fall to the Panthers at Lambeau.
We got to do a better job coaching, obviously. And then ultimately, we got to go do a better job and just relying on our core fundamentals. You can't have holding penalties. You can't fumble the football. You got to be able to tackle. You got to be able to stop the run. Just base football principles. And if you don't do them well, you're susceptible to getting beat. Doesn't matter who you're playing.
We're talking about it all day on the game. Stay tuned.
You do like to grab attention.
No BS will be back in just a moment.
A shark took her arm, but not her teenage desire to be a surfing champ. So next time life puts a little fear in you, just think of Bethany Hamilton hanging 10 on top of a heavy wave. That's real courage. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Carlos Santana as he reflects on some of his teachers.
We had good teachers, Miles Davis, B.B. King, Gino Puente, and the people who we learned, whether it's Herbie Hancock or Wayne or Buddy Rich, they don't think too much. You just go with your heart, with a lot of conviction and a lot of trust and a lot of energy. And we don't have time to doubt or second guess or anything like that. That's for somebody else.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Santana and all your favorite artists.
You're a blot in the name of Gotham City University. When the students find out what kind of a person you really are, they'll hate you forever.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and it's not a country record, it's also a rock and roll record. But it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I'm from Milwaukee and I ought to know. My Blatz beer tastes great wherever you go. All Blatz is draft brewed, that's why you hear.
Blatz is Milwaukee's finest beer.
Draft brewed Blatz, Milwaukee's favorite premium beer. Now at local prices.
Did you know your home can cause twice the greenhouse gases of your car? It's true.
The good news is you can help with Energy Star. The EPA urges you to take steps to reduce your home energy bills and make a big difference in the fight against air pollution. Visit EnergyStar.gov.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets.
VSiN, every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
It's the greatest story in sports.
Star dropping straight back. Into the throws. Has the ball. It is a touchdown.
I'm Doug Russell, and this is Tales from 1265, an insider's look at football's most storied franchise. A franchise that has had its dynasties.
This is the first Super Bowl trophy, and it's something Green Bay can keep. We're going to have a new trophy each year.
And its rebirths.
Every major football decision will be made by Ron Wolf.
I realize I'm a Green Bay Packer now, and maybe I can prove that I am worth the first-round pick next year, but just got to be patient.
But I was really impressed with the coaching staff, with the whole organization, and with the direction the team is going. I think that they have a total commitment to winning.
Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolay Law, your local award-winning injury lawyers. If you've been injured, get Nicolay, Wisconsin's winning team of lawyers that will get you back in the game. Tales from 1265 is a production of iHeartRadio Podcasts and is available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes to listen to this. Overcome it, pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
The Milwaukee Admirals wrap up a 4-game homestand on Friday night when they host the Rockford Ice Hogs at Panther Arena. From the far circle, slot Carr, shoot, scores! Happy birthday, Daniel Carr! Pre-game coverage at 6:30, face-off at 7 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Flight 209er, you are cleared for takeoff.
Roger. Huh?
LA departure frequency 123.9er.
Roger. Huh? Request vector. Over. What?
Flight 209er, clear for vector 324.
We have clearance, Clarence. Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Howard radio clearance, over.
That's Clarence, over. Over. Roger. Huh?
Roger, over.
What? Hey!
Listen to us live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app and watch our shows each weekday on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We are the game.
She got legs, knows how to use them. She never begs, she knows how to choose them. She on the legs.
No BS reaches the Final Four. That's Armen Sari, and I'm Billy Schmid. You're on 877-794-1973, NicolayLaw.com talking text line. Good morning to our lacrosse, ESPN lacrosse affiliates joining us now, as well as Eau Claire. What's happening, the fan in Eau Claire? We appreciate you being with us. And our friends in Rhinelander, Madison, never leaving us on 1070 the game, and the game 101.3, 12:40 a.m.
What's up?
Listen, it's a good morning.
It's not a great morning.
That's why I said good morning.
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
a good morning. You know why it's a good morning? We all woke up today. Come on. Got to celebrate
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot to listen.
There's a lot of bad stuff going on in the world. There's a lot of sad,
terrible
a lot of
things.
sad that happens in the world. Sad that our favorite football team yesterday laid a big old fat egg. And it's not around Easter.
No,
because we would prefer to get those eggs laid around Easter time because then you can color them.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Wrong holiday. We just had Halloween, a lot of trick or treat. Packers said, smell my feet, lose 16-13 to the Carolina Panthers yesterday.
Then we get Thanksgiving and then Christmas. Do you hear that, everybody?
What do you mean?
Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. All you guys putting up Christmas stuff and Christmas music and Christmas trees. What the heck's going on here?
What is who decorates for Thanksgiving?
Who doesn't?
Thanksgiving is a part of the Christmas season.
And I want to say this. I agree that, people do decorate for Thanksgiving. You ever cornucopia? There's turkeys.
That's called a centerpiece. That's not a decoration.
Fair.
There's
But
no
I do
inflatable turkeys going out in front of people's houses.
I know there's a lot of conversation about Christmas music and radio stations playing Christmas music early.
Yeah.
I want to at least defend in one way. All right. And you talked about taking accountability, Billy, looking in the mirror, pointing the finger back at us.
Yeah.
Maybe if we came up with some better Thanksgiving bangers, there wouldn't be Christmas music so early, but we don't. So we got to start writing some better Thanksgiving songs out here. We got to start writing some Thanksgiving bangers.
No, we don't.
If we had Thanksgiving bangers, we wouldn't have to start early with the Christmas music.
We got to all embrace the fact that Christmas music kind of rocks.
It's good. I'm not saying it's not.
Christmas music is a good time.
I just want a time and place for everything. That's all I'm trying to say.
It's time and place, brother. It's within 60 days.
Hey,
now,
crazy.
you are also talking to an individual who celebrated Halloween on Friday.
Yeah.
By putting up the family Christmas tree.
Oh, all right. Come on. I wasn't going to attack anyone personally. I didn't want to call anybody out by their name, but I'm glad you did.
Now, that was directed by the leader of the household.
She makes the decisions, understandably. All right. So does mine.
Valley was trying to put it up on Monday.
Yeah, she wanted that up.
We did trick or treat on Sunday. That means Halloween's done.
She wanted that in August, bro.
See ya. Oh, yeah. Listen, if we could bring up the Christmas lights right after Labor Day, right when all the white goes out of your wardrobe and it just goes to, Grinch slippers and Christmas with the Cranks, should be probably in hook, line, and sinker.
How long do you keep it up after Christmas? Through the Orthodox, through the Epiphany, through the Orthodox.
God.
So January 6th or 7th.
I have to battle with it so much. Now, your favorite holiday, January 6th.
January is
for the Armenian Orthodox.
Armenian Christmas.
Yes, Armenian
so
Christmas.
Depending on your Orthodoxy, it's the 6th or the 7th, the Epiphany. January 6th.
He was
is
off
Armenian
a couple of years ago on that day, though. Interesting enough.
For Armenian Christmas.
Yeah,
interesting. Eating baklava.
Were you local here, or did you go on a trip out east?
No, I ain't any trips out east. Before that date got commandeered. It is an important day. But then the question is how late you keep it. You keep the tree up. I understand, but
I battle to keep the Christmas spirit alive longer. Because you know why? The rest of it's just sad winter.
Sure.
You got to be able to enjoy some of it. I like the bright lights.
It's also not that bad. And I make it to sound like it's not that bad.
I
It's
got a
nice.
lot of people very mad at me on Instagram
You know
when
what?
I posted the fact that we had I said happy Halloween ? Hey, it's Christmas time, I guess.
A great mentor of mine in work and in life by the name of Brian Butch. You know him.
One of the best.
Yeah, 7-footer, right?
Love him.
Great mentor of mine in life. He said, Armen, now that you told me this 4 years ago, by the way, 4 years ago this week, we took our honeymoon.
You and Brian?
No, me and my wife.
Oh, I didn't know where the story was going.
I was waiting for that
distinction there.
I was waiting for a vacation with him. Anyway, he said, Armen.
Yeah, by the way, sorry, did I miss your wedding anniversary yesterday?
No, our anniversary was last month. We waited.
October.
Remember the
4th.
COVID times?
Right, yes.
One of us in the family was a little cautious. I said we should wait to take the
that makes sense,
honeymoon because in case we catch COVID from the wedding, you can have one guess on who played it safe there.
I'm stunned. Yeah.
Well, listen, some of these sandals deals are non-refundable, and I don't want to take any chance that someone's taking away the vacation I paid for. Anyway, he said pick your battles, and there are certain battles you fight, and there's certain ones you don't, Billy, and that's one you don't fight in the household. If she wants to put the Christmas stuff up, you just let it happen, right?
Yes, listen, I'll bring the box upstairs. I'll put a couple ornaments up. I'll top the tree with that big old star. I'll celebrate. I love Christmas. Christmas is a good time.
Matt Milwaukee says, don't tell us how to holiday, Armen. You already tell us how to fan.
Matt.
All right, you know what?
Matt.
That's fair. I'm just making a point. I think it's just about the holidays. It's about relinquishing control of certain decision making.
I like Aaron in Carolina said Jingle Bells is technically a Thanksgiving song. What?
It's actually true. It's about going on the sleigh, right, in the winter. So over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go is a Thanksgiving song as well.
Oh, okay.
But we need more updated Thanksgiving bangers. That's all I'm trying.
Well, the problem is, and let's be honest with it, and we'll get back to the pigskin here in a minute.
We will. We'll talk
but this is frankly
important.
Out of the 3.5 hours, maybe my favorite part of it because the football game didn't give a whole lot of fun stuff to talk about.
Okay.
Andy Williams and Nat King Cole ain't walking through that door.
They ain't walking through that door.
Nor
Burl
is
Ives
Adam Sandler
ain't walking through that door.
Yeah, we need good. No one's making that stuff anymore. Sadly, nobody's making those good Christmas bangers anymore. Justin Bieber's trying.
The closest, does he really?
Ariana Grande's trying. Oh yeah, he put out Christmas album. Oh yeah, he put out Christmas.
Oh, Christmas albums, yeah, not Thanksgiving albums.
No one's trying to make Thanksgiving songs.
The closest thing we
You're
had,
the only one trying to make a Thanksgiving song.
Closest thing we had was that internet remix to turkey, mashed potatoes, beans, potatoes, tomatoes.
That is the only Thanksgiving banger, and it is a banger.
If you put that on, I bet if you put that on a club, people would be going crazy
No,
with it.
I don't think so.
Turkey, beans, potatoes,
maybe
tomatoes,
for about
yams,
30 seconds, and then they realize, what the
It
hell?
might be.
I don't know.
Vibing on that. This is a month where it's the Packers' month of November that starts out with a fat L after shutting the box and going undefeated in the month of October.
Which is actually amazing. For all the consternation, strife, anger from Packer fans, we didn't lose a game for a month, right?
Didn't lose. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy
Now
to
start
think
this
that.
one with a big old L.
Not a
And
good start.
the month of November is going to finish for the green and gold on the aforementioned holiday of Thanksgiving when they go to the Detroit Lions. As much as you had to roll through the month of October to get to this point, and I think a lot of eyes and ears and some individual on the radio show,
who's that?
After week 2 said, show me a loss before this Philadelphia game.
Uh-oh. Well, you weren't
Now,
wrong.
I've only seen 2 losses in one tie. But now I've seen a lot more games in the month of November, Armin, where if you bring, and we had texter Steve say, they're going to be lucky to win 5 games the rest of the way out.
So win 10 totally.
Well, if you play the way you did yesterday, you're going to struggle to win a game in the month of November because it is a hellish month that you're going into, especially because outside of the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles, who you face off right away, now you start off the gauntlet of division games that are really going to tell you where you go and what your lot in life is for the 2025 season.
Yeah, the ironic and somewhat maybe positive thinking is this year's been weird in that the 2 games you've lost and the game you tied are all against what you thought were the worst teams that you were going to play, right? The 2 games the Packers lost are against the Browns and the Panthers. I mean, they've beaten really good teams this year. They've lost to the subpar teams, at least we think subpar teams, on their schedule, which is probably what's the most frustrating about it, Billy. So if that trend holds, I like their chances against good competition. I don't know about you, but I do. Now, that trend has to hold. That's the important thing. Go ahead. What do you like here? What do you like? Just say, just go.
I like the 608 texter who said,
yeah.
Every caller breaking down the film after a loss with a thick northern Wisconsin accent. You know, the run defense, just terrible. It's just terrible. And you know, LaFleur, geez, he's terrible. It's just a hilarious start.
Well, you know what? You should listen to Packers OT.
We had a couple of them.
We get all kinds.
Listen, we got the return of our friend Charles in Arkdale, which I was very, very happy about last night.
That made me feel so good to hear his voice. I'm screening the calls in there, and it's Charles. I said, Charles, where are you calling from? And my eyes lit up, and he said, Arkdale, and it was like, hallelujah, because we hadn't heard from Charles and Arkdale all year. And that was a couple things going through. 1, he's got a banger of an analysis every time.
Yes.
2, I just wanted to hear from him to make sure he's good. You know, I don't know exactly where Arkdale is. I looked it
Sometimes
up.
you want check-ins.
It's up there.
Yep. You want wellness checks.
And the best thing, I said, Charles, I haven't heard from you all year. He said, well, I've got opinions that nobody else will have. And I'm like, okay, you're out. I'm not going to screen you anymore. You're in.
He brought the heat.
Yeah, it was awesome. So
he always does. And listen, the 4th and 8 that I think he talked about last night was admittedly by LaFleur a miss. Like I think there's part of it, Armin, where the game, you had such a plan to go for it on 4th down. And then when 3rd down goes so blatantly wrong, you need to reassess and just play the game that you're in. I saw a couple of people say, coach the team that you have for LaFleur and call plays for the offense that you have. I think it's winning and playing the game that you're in. It's a 1-possession game in the 4th quarter with 11 minutes to go. Take the points. Now, taking the points might be a little easier said than done because your field goal kicker might be a bigger issue than we had really ever thought of. Wes from Mount Horeb hit us up on the talking text line. Love this one from Wes. He said, I take accountability for the loss. Accountability, it's taken me so long to start the grassroots effort to get rid of Matt LaFleur. Tactically, he's horrible. Week in and week out, this edition, not kicking the field goal on 4th down in a goal, 11 minutes to go in that situation, said even before burning the timeout and seeing the outcome of the play. When they called the timeout, Armin, I thought it was okay, sweet. Now we're going to take the points. And when I see Brandon McManus from where we're at on the 7th floor at Lambeau Field, the press box.
Correct.
He kicks 2 into the net, then trots to midfield where he's generally going to run out. I'm telling you, Matt LaFleur did not even look back. He was staring straight at the line of scrimmage, looks at the play sheet, talks to Jordan Love. Love then runs over. Here's the play and then goes.
Wasn't even
all
a
right,
thought.
well, sweet. It wasn't a thought. It was
Wasn't a thought.
not crossing the mind at all. We can put it to bed.
And I guess my thought also is you're going to take a timeout there, you actually probably should call a play. Because if you're taking a timeout there, which, by the way, was not, you don't want to waste a timeout in the second half. You might need it. But if you're taking that timeout, you have to figure they're taking a timeout to get the right play in, because you don't need to take a timeout to kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't. And it seemed like, you ever watch Tin Cup? This is a tough reference because you might not have seen it.
That's a golf movie,
yeah,
right?
with Costner, and he was like, at the end of the game, he's like, just give me the ball, I'm hitting it again. Give me the ball, I'm hitting it again. And it's like, I'm making this emotional decision, and I'm committed to it. And that's all there is to it. Like, deep down, you know what's wrong, but I'm seeing red right now. And it's like, you can cognitively say, this is the decision I'm making. That's just what I'm doing right now. Even though I maybe know I shouldn't, but before I get a chance to think about it, I'm calling a play here that I believe can work, because I like calling my plays and I like writing up my play. You know what I mean? It's just,
I've sadly had that exact same moment in a Dragon Link machine a couple of different times.
See, we have that moment. So I don't know, Billy.
I've lost 3 straight plays on roulette. All right, now I'm seeing red. This guy, I'm winning this one. You see a little bit of red, and you keep rolling through it. 877-794-1973. We'll get to a call here in 1 second, but I want to get this in from Pete Doherty at PackersNews.com. Hitting exactly what we talked about earlier today, in how the Packers need to be okay doing the mundane, taking what's there. Pete Doherty earlier on today. Defenses have figured out that the best chance to beat LaFleur and Love is to take away the big play and make them execute down after down after down. The bet that defensive coordinators are placing is that somewhere along the line, the Packers will, because of impatience or a lack of discipline, make the drive-killing mistake that will keep them from getting into the end zone.
Yeah,
I mean, that's spot on.
It's well said. The one thing I would say is I think that's how most defensive coordinators now approach playing defense in the league. Is it just a Packers thing? Is it because they think the Packers are kind of, discipline deficient? Maybe part of that, but I wouldn't think it's much different. It's also probably a respect to the Packers' ability to take deep shots and have deep threats, especially with Watson back. So now it's like, all right, we know they can do it. We got to double down because they have all these threats on that defense. But it's spot on.
Our friend Aaron Nagler said, Billy, I just want to talk to that texter who admonished us last week for talking about the Panthers seriously and taking the Panthers seriously, shaking my hand. He did say, I'm sick and tired of this. They're going to roll the Panthers. Packers thought they were going to roll out those sweet hand-painted leather-like helmets, and instead held a 16-13 L.
And there is an aspect of that where we have to ask ourselves when we're going to learn our lesson about this league. Like, no matter how many times it happens, it's always like, yeah, but they're not going to lose that game.
I won't lose that
game. I'm sorry. Every NFL game is going to be a challenge. Every NFL game, no matter how obvious it seems.
That's next year now when we go through the wins and losses on the schedule when it comes out, because hopefully we're doing this radio show, right? We'll just win-loss the schedule like we do after every schedule release. I'm just going to pick the most blatantly wild game for them to lose. Call it out as an L. Because one, I'll get immediate engagement online, right? As we're trying to learn this tech
Great
age.
engagement.
We got to be able to get that engagement. I can't wait to expect and pick the Packers to lose against the Giants next year or in 2 weeks. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Right now, Brian in Valders is on hold, and he's going to join us on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line. It's 877-794-1973. Hi, Brian.
Hey, guys. Armen hit it well, and there's never an easy game on the schedule. And for an entire week going into this game, all I heard on the radio and from people and on the TV was that, the Packers are going to win this game by 3 touchdowns, and we're going to blow them. We're going to the Super Bowl and all this stuff. And I was sitting there and laughing at that, thinking, and I'm a Packer fan myself, but it's like, come on, be realistic, you guys. Be realistic. I mean, sometimes I think the coach takes more of the credit when they win, and takes too much blame when they lose to a team for a game. And sometimes I think many times on this Packer team, people have always said, well, take the training wheels off of Jordan Love and let him go and let him throw. Well, you know what? I think part of the problem is now LaFleur has taken the training wheels off at times, and it's kicked them in the tail.
Sure.
I mean, the score should have been 23-13. That throw he made across the field in the end zone, that should have been 100 yards going the other direction. I mean, and even yes, did Matt LaFleur make some mistakes in clock management? By all means, yes, he did. He should have taken the field goal with 11 minutes to go. But I mean, come on. It's more. It's everybody plays a part in this. Even Halfley's defense. I love Halfley, but the defense is not coming ready to play.
Yeah.
I mean, run or offensively and defensively. I think every aspect of the operation yesterday failed miserably, and yet I think we just need to realize that, hey, listen, maybe we're not as good as we think we were. And maybe we need to just play better. And now losing Tucker Kraft is going to make it hard, no doubt about it. But now maybe they're going to get a wake-up call.
Appreciate it, Brian.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah, well, and listen, that was phenomenal. I appreciate that's what when you say that's all you got, didn't need much more. That was phenomenal. There's also in there, he's on to, and I think I totally am in agreement where a lot of times the head coach and quarterback, star player in the NBA, starting pitcher in Major League Baseball, manager in Major League Baseball. There's a couple of spots that you always get more credit when you probably don't deserve as much of it, and more blame when you probably don't deserve as much of it as well. Like, I'm sorry, Matt LaFleur is not teaching to put the ball in the hand where all the defenders are coming on the opening drive.
Correct. That's why I was so upset.
That's why he's so upset. Like, he's not teaching holding on two different plays, right? Like, not teaching multiple procedural penalties. I don't know how we get lined up wrong on the kickoff.
I don't get it, Billy.
I hadn't seen a legal formation on the kicking team yet, so we have now in the new kickoff rule. Like those are frustrating. Palms up. Some of those can be coaching, but I think some of those also are on the player. I think there's too much blame and too much credit at certain times. Brian's spot on there. I would counter with the fact, like, I do still think, and I know this is tough to say, after they lose 16-13 at home to Carolina, I do still think they can get to the Super Bowl.
Heck yeah.
Like
absolutely.
The teams that are going to get through the postseason are going to have more stumbles like this. I mentioned Kansas City a couple of years ago, and that was with 2 weeks to go in the regular season. Like, there's good times to learn lessons, and this is absolutely one to learn. I think the bigger loss that will affect them going forward is the loss of Kraft, not just the loss of the game yesterday.
I agree. That's why I disagree here with Mr. Guy on YouTube. It's safe to completely write off the Packers this year. Look at these teams they've been losing to. Yeah, but that's the point, is like they can beat good teams. So to say that they can't overcome it is totally wrong. I agree with you, Billy. Absolutely. Teams are going to lose games, and there is life after a loss. You can overcome those things. I'm just right off. Give me a break. No one's written off.
The funny thing is, you would actually say last year it was, no, we're going to write them off because they can't beat good teams. Well, they've only beat good teams more. They've beaten more of the good teams this year and less of the bad teams. So that's a little counterintuitive.
It is. It's sort of like what we thought about the Brewers. Was it 2 years ago? It was a whole thing about the Brewers winning against good teams but not bad teams. I don't know. The reality is everyone's still got a shot. This is week to week. We keep talking about it. You get to the playoffs and you try and play your best.
You can say it this way for the Brewers. They were 6-0 against the LA Dodgers during the regular season.
Exactly. Just try.
Sorry about that.
Trying to say you know what's going to happen or this shows this and trying to extrapolate some big conclusion from a small result. It ain't it. I'm sorry.
Was that the best World Series game you've ever watched on Saturday night?
It was up there, Billy, but of all the great World Series games, it's hard to say one's the best. There's been too many great ones.
Was that even the best one in the series?
Well, that's a great
Friday
question.
was pretty crazy.
But in terms of game sevens, it's in the neighborhood, but I can never say one game seven's the best in this game because there's been so many great World Series game sevens.
Friday night, the 3-1 game?
Just the ball getting stuck and the craziness of that, and then the guy getting doubled up to end the game.
Yeah.
And I turned around at the bar and went, "What? How'd the game end?"
Game 3. But I'm sorry, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. There have been so many great game sevens in baseball World Series history. So many.
We got a couple of good nominations for teams that have been closer than the Blue Jays to hoisting the trophy.
And that's a conversation we might take into tomorrow as well, Billy.
Yes. Well, because we got a couple of nominations and we got to get into some of them on the other side. 877-794-1973. It's no BS on the game.
Lie awake in bed with the echoes of the amplifiers ringing in your head.
Green Bay loses a tough one at Lambeau to Carolina.
You just got to be able to, execute and do things right, on Sunday. I mean, you can do everything right during the week. If you're not ready to, do it in the game, you're not doing it in the game, then, that doesn't matter anymore. So, I think we got to have that stuff translate more to the games in terms of that, execution, attention to detail, and just the fundamental stuff so we can eliminate those, self-inflicted wounds.
We're reacting all day on the game. Miss an hour of no BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app. We'll be right back on the game.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Queen songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, We Are the Champions.
We are the champions of the world.
Number 2, We Will Rock You.
You got mud on your face, big disgrace. Somebody better put your bag into your place. We will rock you. Sing it. We will rock you.
Number 1, Another One Bites the Dust.
Another one bites the dust, and another one gone, and another one gone, another one bites the dust. Hey, I'm gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust.
Hear more from Queen and similar artists now. Search for Queen on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Want to watch the shows? You can watch your favorite personalities talk about your favorite teams on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Just search 97.3 The Game.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to reflect on a day in the life of writing and producing the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album in France.
We all stayed at the Shadow in bedrooms, along with my producer, Gus Dudgeon, and Bernie, who wrote the lyrics. And I used to get up and same time as Bernie, I went down to breakfast. Bernie would be typing, not Bernie talking, and he would give me a lyric, and I would have my breakfast, and I would have a croissant and wander over to the electric piano. We had our instruments set up around the breakfast table, a guitar amp, a bass amp, and a drum kit, and the electric piano, and a mic, and I would sit down and write a song to those lyrics. Hence, then I'd wake the band up because I'd be playing and singing, and they'd come down and having their breakfast, or even before they started, they would join in, and we would write the song straight away. After we'd finished, we'd go straight over to the other side. Maybe we'd write 2, but mostly 1. Start the day off with a song, and go off to the other side of the courtyard to the studio and record the song, and then write in the studio.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Peter Gabriel as he reflects on the first official gig Genesis had in 1969.
Oh, well, actually, it was at the end of the lane going to my parents' farm. There was a family there called the Bombs who wanted a band to play at their party. And truthfully, the people at the party really wanted to hear hits, and they didn't want to hear original songs, which is the age-old dilemma for bar bands.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Peter Gabriel and all your favorite artists.
Alzheimer's disease is the 6th leading cause of death in the country, and it's affecting almost 7 million Americans, including 110,000 people here in Wisconsin. UW-Madison is working hard to improve the lives of those affected, offering resources to educate and the latest in research and technology. The UW Initiative to End Alzheimer's has so many ways you can benefit, learn, get involved, and make a difference. Visit goalsforacure.org. That's goalsforacure.org.
Message marked urgent.
We're here for you now on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line at 1-877-794-1973.
On the latest Tales from 1265, we dive into how the first Hall of Fame for an individual team came to fruition and the most unique story in all of sports.
They'd go further in the red, but then community leaders decided to have that first stock sale.
I'm Doug Russell. Join me for Tales from 1265 on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolet Law, Wisconsin's winning team of lawyers that will get you back in the game.
They want to hear the Thanksgiving song. All right. This is a Thanksgiving song. I hope you enjoy it. Love to eat turkey. Gobble, gobble, woo, and gobble, gobble, giggle. I wish turkey only cost a nickel.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I love turkey on Thanksgiving.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle
There it is.
Bingo,
The one Thanksgiving song.
Adam Sandler, the one Thanksgiving song. And we need more of those.
I don't know that we do.
And this one's for Dobler here on the old YouTube comments. I've been waiting for about 10 minutes to light him up. And you wonder why you're yanked off the radio, non-sports talk on this platform. Look, Dobler.
Well, let me tell you, Dobler.
Look-
Okay.
Let me
Go
tell you
ahead,
something, Dobler. Yeah, besides the fact that it doesn't really talk about it. We basically just talked about the Packers for 3 hours, broke down we're still talking about them. And for 5 minutes of this inventory, I got to give a Thanksgiving take. 5 minutes. We've been talking sports the whole show. Now, listen, maybe with a name like Dobler that rhymes with gobbler, you should have more respect for the Thanksgiving take.
Yeah, I thought Dobler was going to be all in on the Thanksgiving celebration. Sounds like Dobler's Dobbers a little
So
time.
many years removed from a take like that. Just miss me with that nonsense. If you've been listening to this show, you know how much sports we've been talking. And God forbid I spend 5 minutes on Thanksgiving take. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, God,
I'm
Armen,
sorry.
You stop with these nonsensical Thanksgiving takes. Let's talk football. Let's answer the question that Matt in Milwaukee has because he's asked us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times.
8 times.
We got it, Matt.
Oh, sorry,
right.
9, 10,
All right.
11
Oh,
times.
geez.
All right. All right. Man.
Does Matt LaFleur need to give up play calling duties?
No.
Is it becoming a story that Ed Policy doesn't extend LaFleur, but extends Brian Gutekunst?
Okay, these are 3 separate questions, right? First is the play calling. Second is
Sounds like
extending
10 of
LaFleur, extending Goody. So what do you think, Billy?
Well, Luddy answered the giving up play calling duty. He said no. If you heard him there in the middle there, no, he's not going to give up play calling duties.
Not in the middle of a season.
I don't care.
Or
if it's
think
in the-
ever.
Yeah, Luddy, in the beginning of the season, in the middle of the season, at the end of the season, he's not going to. It doesn't make any sense for him. They're one of the better offenses in all of football. They just put up 35 points on the road and won.
Yeah.
Like giving up play calling duties is the last thing you do before your ass gets fired.
Yes.
Go ask Brian Callahan how it worked giving up play calling duties.
McCarthy did it for a very short time. Said, no, just kidding. I'm taking
Oh,
him
in
right
2015 was phenomenal offensively, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great when he gave up play calling duties. When you're an offensive head coach, and that is why you are the head coach.
It's what you do.
It's what you do. Show me one of the guys that have been in that group that has given up play calling duties.
Mm-hmm.
None of them. None of them. And anybody offensively that gives up play calling duties or that calls plays doesn't continually call plays.
Yeah.
If you're an offensive head coach, almost all the time you have to call plays. That's why you end up being the head coach. Because otherwise it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Because if you're giving it to somebody else to be an offensive coordinator and they do really, really well calling the plays, guess what? They're gone to be a head coach so they can then call plays. It's an offensive league. He's not giving up play calling duties.
Also,
Now,
whether I can't tell you how to feel about whether or not you think really quick. Sorry,
go
Billy,
ahead.
that LaFleur is good at it. I can't tell you what to think, but the results have been too good for me to argue otherwise. In terms of, and people say hey, hot seat, this and that. He wins too much. If the Packers didn't score and win as much as they do, you might have an argument, but they don't. They do those things well. So it's hard for me to sit here and say, well, he should just give him up, especially if that's what he does well. Now, whether or not he does it well can be a matter of opinion. But in my opinion, overall, the results speak for themselves. I will say this. Yeah, I think Mike Sherman gave it up once and quickly took it back in 03 or 04. Mike Holmgren famously said he stopped calling plays in the Rams game in 96 because he was so frustrated and couldn't think straight. And he told Sherman to call it. You call it. I'm so mad. You call it. But that wasn't giving up play call.
No, because I think he called the plays the next game, right?
You think Matt
on the way to the Super Bowl, he was not going to be like, you know what, Sherman, you were doing a good job out there in St. Louis. Why don't you just keep it rolling?
You think Mike Holmgren was going to give up play calling duties the way he would script them and go through on that overhead projector with Brett Favre on NFL films and go through every 15? Yeah, right.
You think he wanted to give that up, that conversation with Madden and Summerall?
No, come on. No. I agree with you, Billy. I don't think it's unprecedented, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's functional for the Packers for it to happen. If you have a better play caller on that staff, I doubt it. And if you do, he's probably on a different staff being a head coach.
Generally. Yeah. Like the head coaches that don't call plays that are successful. I'm looking at in the AFC, New England and Buffalo, Sean McDermott and Vrabel, both defensive guys. Pittsburgh Steelers doesn't call it. Defensive guy. John Harbaugh, defensive guy. Shane Steichen, 7-2, Indianapolis Colts,
and they lost. But
offensive coordinator calls the plays. Like anybody, Liam Cohen, 5-3, Jacksonville. They just won yesterday. Calls the plays. Sean Payton in Denver calls the plays. Like the only guy that doesn't, who's an offensive guy, technically would be Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, I guess.
But
so.
I don't know that Harbaugh's called plays ever.
He's never in the NFL.
Never called plays in the NFL, and I don't really know. Did in college, even when he was at Stanford, I don't believe he called plays.
Unless it's just implementing the offense his first year. I can see that, but beyond that, no.
That's just not how it goes. And I get it. It sounds good. It does. Nick Sirianni doesn't call plays. Never did as a head coach. So like you come in starting doing it, giving it up. That's the first path to your exit plan. Now the story of does Matt LaFleur not get extended and Brian Gutekunst doesn't. For what they've done so far this year, Matt LaFleur gets a contract extension. You can disagree with that. That's fine. I'm just telling you what my opinion would be, and I think the opinion of every other organization in pro football. Matt LaFleur is going to remain the head coach at the end of the year, and he gets a contract extension. They're 5-2-1. They're the number one seed
so far.
Or they're the top team in their division. At this point right now, he would get an extension. But no one's getting an extension right now. Brian Gutekunst isn't getting one. Matt LaFleur's not. They're going to let the season play out.
Well, that's the thing. We'll see what happens.
If they would stumble down the backstretch here, then maybe. But for what they've put out there right now, through 8 games, Armen, he gets an extension. He doesn't get fired.
Yeah, and if he wins 10 games again and makes the playoffs, it's hard to see it going in a different direction. I mean, you're talking about a guy right now. I understand sample size, whatever. He's top 15 all time in winning percentage. Matt LaFleur in coaching history. So, whether or not that continues remains to be seen. But I agree. I doubt it, Billy. Yeah, no doubt. Okay, Mike from Merrill. Let's get this in. I'd like to bring up a point that has not been addressed under the Matt LaFleur era. Whatever happened to the home field advantage at Lambeau Field? Well, I'm sure it's been addressed by somebody.
Ooh, good
Noon
one.
starts, which was actually 1 o'clock with a time change. Good point. You had an extra hour of sleep, everybody. That for years and years were wins. Now we're a roll of the dice, not knowing if they show up or not. Yesterday was loss, embarrassing, unacceptable, and should bring the real question to the forefront. Is Matt the guy? I thought your real question was the first one about the home field advantage. So he's got 2 real questions. Is Matt the guy to take them to the next level, or just the guy that chalks up division championships? So 2 questions there, Billy, actually. Mike wants to know about the home field advantage. Is that a crowd question? Is that a fan question? Is that a you should just win all your home games question? Coaching question?
I mean, you should win a game like yesterday. You should win a game like yesterday, no doubt about it. I don't think that I'd point to this home record being pretty damn good, especially their December record is quite phenomenal under LaFleur, which generally speaking is the mark of a good coach. Are your teams getting better in late November into December? Is your team better in December than it was in October? And for the majority of his 7 years, yeah, that's just been the case. By the way that they've won in December and the way that they've won at home, that they've been rather good at home. Now, yesterday, there is a common refrain, though, of games, and some of them have been throwback games, Or they've struggled they have not brought the same juice in the middle of the season noon game. I think of the Jets game a number of years ago. And that was also coming off of the trip to London, but that one sticks out like a sore thumb, just like yesterday does. But I don't think yesterday is a full indictment on this is why you need to make a change at head coach. Because, and this is the other part of it. Is he the guy that stacks up division titles or wins titles? Well, I would counter with how many of the guys are before they win the title. They say that they're asking the same thing about Kyle Shanahan right now. He's been to 2 of them.
Yeah.
They were ready to fire Nick Sirianni last year.
Mm-hmm.
They won the Super Bowl.
World Championship, yeah.
Like, Andy Reid was considered the guy that could never win the big game until he did. So, like, at some point, you're always going to get that moniker until you do. And I don't fault people for saying it, but like Matt LaFleur gets released by the Packers today. He gets hired tomorrow. Like that's how quickly it happens that somebody makes him their head coach. And I would love to know where we go shopping at the Great Coach Outlet Center. Like that's what I want to know. And similarly, I asked the same thing about University of Wisconsin. When people have said multiple times, well, Fickle's clearly not the guy. Well, Clark Lee won 9 games in his first 3 years at Vandy. And now at a top 10 team over the last, going into last week when they went to Texas. So yeah, it does take time. It will, but you don't just walk up to great coaches are us. I don't know who's the next guy that you're waiting and saying, well, that guy is clearly the championship coach,
right?
Not the guy that only wins multiple division titles and has a 600+ winning percentage.
Yeah, like we need better playoff players, as Tim Allen used to say.
I don't know where we shop for those. No. If we find that answer, let me know, and I'll be very, very interested in it.
I'd also like to make one other point about the home record, and I think this is part of it for us. I think understandably, what we're talking about is comparing him to the old Lambeau advantage of the Mike Holmgren Lambeau Packers. I think this is tough because unless I'm mistaking this, and I think I'm seeing it right, Matt LaFleur is 38-12 as a head coach at home under his tenure. That's really, really good. That's a very good home record. Nobody could argue that. I think the problem is, as a basis of comparison, we remember the Mike Holmgren home record of 47-5. Mike Holmgren was 47-5 at home at Lambeau between 92 and 98 when he coached. That's the best home record of any coach in NFL history. That's never going to happen again. Whatever the reason was, obviously he was a great coach with great teams, and there was the mystique about Lambeau, and it's always been a great home environment, but during that time it was special. You're talking about a 47-5 home record. Nobody will ever, in my opinion, have a home record that good as a coach in NFL history for a 7-year period. Nobody. That's our basis of comparison. So if you compare that record to every coach the Packers are going to have since, it's really hard. Matt LaFleur's 38-12 at home. That's a very, very, very good home record.
Yeah.
So I can't totally accept the premise that the Lambeau mystique is gone in terms of the Lambeau advantage. If you want to compare it to the Holmgren era, I understand it, but nothing's going to breach that. I mean, it was an incredible record, an incredible pantheon and standard to reach. So we were special, and we still are, I think, at home, but that was a super special time, and that's just the way it is.
Pretty dang good.
It took until them losing to Mike Vick in the playoffs for them to lose a game that was freezing.
Right.
Like
ever
at Lambeau Field.
And it wasn't going to last forever.
Right.
But that was one of the first time it happened.
Farmer Fred said, guys, oh my God. Some of your listeners need to relax. They act like being in first place is a bad thing. Some of us in our early 60s would have performed unnatural acts in uncomfortable positions just to witness the Packers being in first place while listening to seasonally adjusted Thanksgiving music. Thanks, Farmer Fred. Farmer, we love you.
Also, Rhonda was caping up for me. Thank you, Rhonda. Let these guys they can talk about whatever they want. Go back to bed, Dobler. Thanks, Rhonda.
That's
awesome. You always
Maybe he was in bed the whole time.
Yeah,
Seems
probably
like
true. You probably was.
Pogo said Packers would be taking a huge step backwards if they move on from Goody or Matt. I would agree. I also would agree with that. Andy in Thiensville. All right, so I agree. Let's not fire LaFleur. But what does he need to improve on? What are his weaknesses? Andy, great question. Let's get into some of that on the other side at 877-794-1973. We'll hit into some of those as well. That's Armen Sari, and I'm Billy Schmidt. Our closing ceremony is coming up on the other side. It's no BS on the game.
about breakfast at Tiffany. She said, I think I remember the film. And as I recall, I think we both kind of liked it. And I said, well, that's the one thing we got.
Green Bay loses a tough one at Lambeau to Carolina.
Martin down on one knee, arm extended. Snap, placement. The kick is up, and it is good. Oh. And the Panthers have won.
We're reacting all day on the game. Miss an hour of no BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app. Don't miss DND middays here on the game.
Yeah, I've just got to get on my soapbox here after just watching this series, this NLCS, and just how baseball has kind of played out here. It pains me to say this and pains me to kind of talk about this because this is not something that I've wanted for the longest time, but that lockout is going to be coming in 2027. And at this point, I want it, and I want it to go as long as it takes until there is a salary cap. But MLB needs to implement a salary cap, and the Los Angeles Dodgers are proving to be exactly why. In terms of just the amount of money that the Dodgers are spending just on this roster and how absurd it is, the Dodgers this year have a $416.9 million on their competitive balance tax payroll. Let's compare to other salary caps around the league. The NFL, their salary cap, $279.2 million. The NBA salary cap, $154.6 million. The NHL salary cap, $95.5 million. You total that up, Doug, and you get $529.3 million for the salary caps for all three of the other major sports leagues. The Dodgers' competitive balance, their payroll, plus the luxury tax that they're paying $168.9 million in luxury tax. The Dodgers are spending $585.8 million just on this year's roster. That is more than all three of the other leagues' salary caps combined.
DND with Doug, Nick, and Dave. Middays here on the game.
I'm Hunter Baumgart with a programming update. Where can you find the games you want to listen to and when? We've got the answers. Tonight, you can hear Monday Night Football, courtesy of Westwood One, on our sister station, Fox Sports 920 WOKY in Milwaukee and 1070 The Game in Madison. The 3-4-1 Dallas Cowboys host the 2-5 Arizona Cardinals. 6 o'clock pregame, 7:15 kickoff this evening. I'm Hunter Baumgart for the Game Radio Network.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Prince songs you've thumbed up. Number 3, Little Red Corvette.
It was Saturday night. I guess that makes it all right. You say, baby, I ain't got enough gas. Oh, yeah. Little red Corvette. Baby, your mind's too fast. It's wrong.
Number 2, 1999.
2000 party over, oops, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999.
Number 1, When Doves Cry.
Baby, you're just like my mother. She's never satisfied. Why do we scream at each other?
Hear more from Prince and similar artists now. Search for Prince on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
It's the greatest story in sports.
Star dropping straight back. Kennedy throws, has the ball. It is McGee, touchdown.
I'm Doug Russell, and this is Tales from 1265, an insider's look at football's most storied franchise. A franchise that has had its dynasties.
This is the first Super Bowl trophy, and it's something Green Bay can keep. We're going to have a new trophy each year.
And its rebirths.
Every major football decision will be made by Ron Wolf.
I realize I'm a Green Bay Packer now, and
maybe I can prove that I am worth the first-round pick next year, but just got to be patient.
But I was really impressed with the coaching staff, with the whole organization, and with the direction the team is going. I think they have a total commitment to winning.
Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolay Law, your local award-winning injury lawyers. If you've been injured, get Nicolay, Wisconsin's winning team of lawyers that will get you back in the game. Tales from 1265 is a production of iHeartRadio Podcasts and is available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Message marked urgent. We're here for you now on the NicolayLaw.com talk and text line at 1-877-794-1973. Time now for Billy's Parlay of the Day, brought to you by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest.
Bet big, bet bold, bet above the rest of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Better believe the Bucks in Indiana tonight. Going to be a massive one. Now, I want to fire in a parlay of the day here at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bucks and Pacers. Now, the Pacers, Armen, I enjoy being able to say this because we don't like that team all that much. The 1-5 Indiana Pacers. They started the year 0-5. Now, granted, they did get a win against the Golden State Warriors, which we don't necessarily love. However, they get a victory. Bucks had just a brutal L against the Sacramento Kings on Saturday afternoon. Scored 47 points in the first quarter and lost. 47 points in a quarter and lost.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it. That's a brutal one. That was tough.
It's a brutal loss to be able to take.
Especially when they started. I really thought they were going to win that one. Yeah.
Felt like they were going to, and felt like even in the late stages of the fourth quarter, they were going to find a way to win. Instead, they lose 135-133. Giannis, 26 points after missing the game against the Warriors earlier on in the week. Comes out, plays well, not incredible. However, was kind of paced on how much usage he had to go 9 of 14 from the line. We like that, but this Indiana team usually brings a little something special out of the Greek Freak.
I don't expect that he will look at them and say, oh, just another game. Yeah.
Over under on the points, rebounds, assists special for our friend Giannis Antetokounmpo comes in at 52.5 for tonight's game.
And I also saw some takes after
to go up there.
That game that on Saturday that he could have played better. Some people believe that. So I would expect him to respond.
That's why we roll right into 50 points, rebounds, assists. 52.5 seems a little sketchy. That number's a little tight. So we'll pay the juice, Armen, to go to just 50 points, rebounds, assists. That's at minus 182. Because we're going to make it up on this team knocking down triples. Luckily, we got AJ Green, Gary Trent that are all into the three-point shooting variety. So is our friend Ryan Rollins.
Great start to the year.
3 threes for Ryan Rollins plus 225 at the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Let's go.
Now, Miles Turner is going to have something for the Indiana Pacers tonight, right?
Oh, he's all fired up. Unless they try and give him the Tony Kukoc treatment, the Dream Team treatment. You think that could be possible? They
and let Giannis go off?
Well, they goon him up. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Give me 2 threes from Miles Turner tonight. That's a plus 950 parlay of the day at the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
That's a great number.
Giannis plus 50 points, rebounds, assists. Ryan Rollins, 3 threes. Miles Turner, 2 threes. Plus 950 at the Potawatomi Sportsbook tonight as the Bucks take on the Pacers.
I'm cool. I support it. Billy looks good to me. I'm interested to see about that Miles Turner situation because he's played pretty well against the Kings.
Yes,
he started getting the shot going. So what are they going to try and do to him? The Pacers have been a weird outfit all year. Obviously not very good, but they have some guys. I saw it was Hunter Wohler and Brandon Pajemski.
Yes.
They had the jersey swap.
That was cool.
They played at Muskego one year in their freshman year. So I forgot that Brandon Pajemski was at Muskego. So there you go.
He was also, I think, lived in Greenfield.
Yeah, he was also not at Greenfield High.
Not at Greenfield
How
High
many
School.
of these great ball players are going to be coming through the city of Greenfield and not going to my alma mater? Now,
There's a reason they don't want to go to Greenfield. They want to go to Whitnall.
Tyler did go to Whitnall.
But that's where he grew up. I mean, it's not like he chose from the Greenfield.
But he could have.
He
would have. But he would have.
I know. If you're on the west side, you're going to. I'm just saying. I would just like to catch a break that one of these kids grows up on the east side one of these times. That would be nice.
Oh.
That'd be all right.
maybe retain him over on that side of Layton Avenue.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Player retention's a little stronger on that side.
That's why I'm moving. So I'm trying to get everything going again.
Oh yeah, you're getting back in. Are you going to be a big time donor now at Greenfield High School now that you're moving back into the district?
I will donate my
NIL
taxes.
checks?
I will donate my taxes. I don't think NIL is going to be what's going to do it for the Greenfield High School. Hey, we have a nice swimming auditorium.
It is sweet.
Yeah. Okay.
That they do. They have a sweet swimming auditorium. That's for sure.
Not when I went there. Not when I went there. We had cold water in the showers. That was a totally different school. Then they remodeled it.
I went to my first ever youth
now
football
they're not
game
even
as a head coach
showering
there.
in high schools anymore.
Hey, I can't wait till Lena's in high school there, and I just give her every story I have about when old Dad walked these halls. Huh?
Dad, would you just?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're looking at me, 2000 volleyball. You're looking at the conference champions right there. Billy, no, you're gonna nail this Potawatomi parlay of the day. I hope you do, and I hope you didn't have any of that big old 13.5 on the Panthers. Actually, I hope you did win some money. Actually, if you had to deal with a loss like that.
No, instead planned on it. And then while I was at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, when you're on the kiosk, had money in on the Panthers.
I think it's
and then hit that cash out button and the money goes right back in. And then I fired it in on a touchdown parlay that I think I went 2 and 5 on.
Well, that's not terrible.
So,
I think
bad though.
Depending on the value, but yeah, I think it's interesting. As bad as we think things are, the Packers are 2.5 point favorites. They opened as 2.5 point favorites against the Eagles.
Against the Eagles at home.
Yeah.
Wow. See, and that's the thing. Like the way that the Packers have bounced back in some of these games, it would lead you to believe that you see a very, very good performance by the Packers. They've responded when the adversity has struck. Now you have to be able to show that you can come out and stop the run, because that team, Philadelphia, on a bye, watched all of what transpired yesterday.
Right.
Saquon Barkley has struggled to get his traction all year long. You looked and said, oh, whoa. 25 carries for $130 for Rico Dowdle, 2 tugs.
Playing them? Oh, I know I'm better than Rico Dowdle. That's what
I know I got a chance.
Yeah.
I know I got a chance. And that Philadelphia line is thinking, wow, that is what they gave up to that offensive line. That was patchwork, and it was Carolina team. We're coming in with all of the dudes and one surefire Hall of Famer at least. They're expecting to run the ball. And that's going to be one that you're going to have to nut up and be able to answer that physicality early and often.
Yeah, the props aren't up yet, but I would imagine that's going to be a number people are watching for. So we'll see about that. But, well, Billy, it wasn't the greatest day yesterday, but it was a good show today with you.
I appreciate that. Yeah. You know what? And we're going to get better. It's only Monday, so the best performance is still coming up. It's still to happen later into the week, but hard to top what Wayne Larrabee gave us at 8 o'clock. And if you missed that conversation, go back and listen to it on the podcast, because it was phenomenal. And the passion and the promo he cut about the flesh and blood of pro athletes is something that needs to be heard by many and all at 877-794-1973. Great work by all of you on the Talking Text line. Great work, Luddy, on the other side. Great work, Armen. I'm Billy Schmidt. We'll be back.